Oh my gosh. This is gonna be a really long stream, gang. I'm not gonna lie. I gotta take somebody to the airport at 3 a.m. So I'm just saying, fuck it. I'm staying up all night. And then as soon as I'm back from the airport, I'm hitting the fucking hay. For like 3 hours and then going to work. Such is my life, though. And those are my life choices. Not the best life choices, but I've made them and they're my own. For better, for worse. Uh, we left off at a pretty interesting point. I stopped pretty early into episode 5 because it already had been an hour of streaming before that, and we last left off. Beatrice was showing herself in front of Natsuhi, who was talking to like, I guess an apparition isn't the right word, but or a ghost, but she was talking to like Kinzo in her head. Also, I'm gonna be drinking a ton of caffeine during the stream. I have like this. What is this? Mushroom elixir root beer flavored. You'd think that would be actually pretty weird. It's like a kombucha root beer. I don't know how to describe it. That's kind of what it tastes like. It's got reishi. It's got chaga. It's got turkey tail. It's got the lion's mane. It's going to be quite the fest. So besides that, I got coffee ready too. I'm going to have at least 2 cups of coffee during this stream, which means I will be going back and forth in the restroom. It will be great. But I'm really excited to see what happens with this chapter because I feel like I've played myself right into the game's hands. Suspecting Natsuhi at the end of the questions arc is like the most obvious freaking thing. And sure, I'm not technically suspecting Natsuhi. I'm suspecting like Beatrice in disguise as Natsuhi. Like that's like my like caveat because I do think Beatrice is like a real human. But I'm really struggling to figure out. Oh, let me get my notes open. The logistics of Beatrice, I suppose. Beatrice is more of a logistical problem than anything else. But I did come up with a really cool theory last night, and not last night, my last stream, and I did write it down. And it was kind of a cool crack theory. The first Beatrice was a relative of Kinzo's, what he spared when he murdered everyone in his family during the first Great Kanto earthquake. Because I'm noticing there's kind of a repeating motif that's happening in the Great Kanto earthquake when Kinzo became a successor. And now we're choosing a new successor during a natural disaster, a typhoon in this case, when the succession is being passed once again. So I'm wondering if something like this happened when Kinzo was chosen as successor. And the other thing that makes me think that is the test. Like, what was Kinzo's choice? What choice did Kinzo face? And it was like implied, or maybe even stated outright, that Kinzo had to make that choice before. And I think at first I thought he might have chosen his family over everybody else. But he might have actually chose Beatrice. The first Beatrice. But that first Beatrice might also be Kumasawa. It's really freaking messy. I also got Wendy's, which is neither here nor there. But I haven't had Wendy's in like 2 years, so I was fucking bumping on it. I feel like it used to be better, though. It's kind of gone downhill. Also, the other theory I came up with, which I think is a good one, is what if the secret vault following people's deaths were actually life insurance payouts, which I think makes a lot of sense. The only thing that doesn't add up about it is the fact that the letters were sent before the murders happened. But it seems possible that someone could have at least had filed those insurance claims, killed them, and then they were mailed to the correct address after they had first hit those like random spots. It's not really a foolproof theory, but I think it's an interesting idea. So I'm gonna say, hold up, let's get back into it. Let's have fun. Let's go stupid. Let's go crazy. Let's experience the Ushiramiya madness together. And let me make sure I have Twitter open. Yeah, okay. Gotta have... Wait, what the fuck is trending? Trump just tweeted some insane shit, that's it. Okay. Oh wait, is it working? Yeah. I didn't have my slider like in view, so I couldn't see it. Oh, my fucking room is a disaster right now. Oh my gosh. Okay. Ahem. When Kinzo called the witch's name, gold butterflies seethed out of every corner of the room. This fantastical scene had an otherworldly beauty to it. Also, somebody named GOBPT followed me. So if they ever watch a stream, or if they pop up in chat, I'd like to say thank you. It was like standing in the midst of a blizzard of gold flower petals being blown about a rose garden of gold. Huh. Where did we see that before? As Natsuhi stared at this scene in shock, the gold butterflies gathered and formed a human shape. Hi, Beatrice. Then, the witch of the portrait appeared. Indeed. Oh, she has a tooth too. This is so lambda coded. Am I just snorting crack on this, or am I right? No, I have to be right. I am the Ushiramiya family alchemist, the Golden Witch, Beatrice. I am free to run rampant. I listen to no one's orders. And there's only one person in the world who can control her. Me. That's why I am qualified to be the Ushiramiya family head. So it's that pride of yours that qualifies you. Pride requires self-confidence and bravery, and it is the embodiment of the insatiable desire to gain power to match those traits. That is why I control you. Watching men who speak of pride turn those desires into reality can be quite pleasant. That quiet man of action is nothing more than an excuse used by the extremely lucky. A true monarch also speaks of what he doesn't have, and he makes that pride a reality without fail. If one is to control me, they must possess such a monarch's pride. Do you understand, Natsuhi? A true monarch fears no hardship. They declare that they will overcome anything without fail, even if they haven't figured out how. This gives hope. This gives hope to the weak. They gather, revere the monarch, and swear to assist him. This is where power is gained, and his word is carried out. Ooh. Engrave that onto your heart, like you did back in episode 1. Yes, father. Natsuhi understood. Through this mystical experience, Kinzo was telling her how to prepare herself to overcome hardship, even after his own death. Feeling a warm sensation rise up in her chest, she let the valuable words Kinzo had given her echo through her mind over and over. A true monarch. In other words, the true head of the Yoshiramiya family must not fear hardship. Such a person must believe they can overcome any hardship. If they can't believe it about themselves, then they'll have no chance of overcoming their challenges. She suddenly felt very ashamed of the way she'd entered this room, sobbing and asking Kinzo what to do. I was foolish.
Yes, I know.
Of course, there's no time for crying when an Yoshiramiya family crisis is upon us. And now that we have inherited the Yoshiramiya family from you, Father, we must protect its honor no matter what. Oh, even though you can't draw a blueprint on how to repay Krause's debts? Why is my computer... Why is it doing that? Okay. Beatrice laughed unpleasantly. No, that wasn't it. Not a no, that wasn't it. He was testing Natsuhi to see whether she possessed the mental readiness to be a true monarch. Natsuhi wasn't confused anymore. She answered clearly, gazing into Beatrice's eyes. Yes, at this moment I have not yet discovered the method we should pursue. However, my husband is the new head of the Yoshiramiya family, and I am his supporting wife. So I will proclaim it in my husband's place. Let us hear it. Yoshiramiya Krause and Yoshiramiya Natsuhi will definitely overcome these trials and protect the honor of the Yoshiramiya family. You have nothing to worry about, Father.
Do you know the scope of Krause's debt, as well as the horrible state things are in?
Yes. If the worst happens and we are ordered to leave this mansion tomorrow, we won't be able to refuse. During the distribution of the inheritance, the relatives might even file a criminal complaint. However, there is no need to worry. We will repay all the debts before then and restore our honor. As she stood at attention with a resolute attitude, Natsuhi proclaimed this clearly with Yoshiramiya Kinzo and Beatrice as witnesses. For a while, they remained silent, as though weighing Natsuhi's resolve. Then Kinzo chuckled and turned away.
How vexing. Why couldn't this person have been my son?
That is total fucking fake Kinzo glazing. Kinzo would never compliment anybody. That's so fucked up. The very fact that a woman with such a disposition married your son is another sign of your great luck. Really? She's imagining this shit so hard. Nobody would glaze Natsuhi like this. Absolutely freaking nobody.
Beatrice, this is my fight.
Now that you are no longer the head, I am not obligated to obey your orders.
Oh, in that case, obey the orders of the new Yoshiramiya family head.
You are no longer the head, and Krause is not yet the head. Whom are you suggesting that I serve?
I will leave that to you. It is up to you to decide who is qualified to succeed the Yoshiramiya family head, and who is fitting to bear the mark of the one-winged eagle. You will ensure that it is so.
I refuse. I won't listen to the orders of a man who isn't the head.
No, this is different. This is a will. The last order that the head left behind for you.
Then it seems I will have to obey. After all, I can be quite accommodating.
Liar. You're only doing this because it caught your interest, aren't you?
I can't hide anything from you, can I? I guess not. That feels like a fucking important line.
Natsuhi.
Yes, Father.
Go and overcome your hardship.
Yes. That might have seemed like a mere response to Natsuhi, but to Kinzo and Beatrice, it seemed to be something of much greater significance. Beatrice nodded deeply, and with a motion as elegant as her dress, she bowed deeply before Natsuhi. The Ashiramiya family alchemist, the Golden Witch Beatrice, is present. I shall give you my aid to assist the Ashiramiya family in overcoming another crisis. Thank you. I will need your power. We will most certainly overcome these trials. I will not hold back on my support for your cause, but there is something I must warn you about beforehand. I understand that your troubles now could be solved if I were to grant you a vast quantity of gold, like I did when I saved Kinzo from his crisis. However, that is something I cannot do. Is that so?
Sorry, Natsuhi. Beatrice's gold came from a contract limited to my generation.
I.e., not this freaking Beatrice. It was the original fucking Beatrice.
It was agreed that it could be passed on to another person if that person solves the witch's epitaph.
The gold is sealed away by the epitaph. As long as it is not solved, you cannot be given the golden magic. I understand. Then, shall I search for another method by which we can save ourselves from this crisis? My husband said his plan would take time, but he also said it would surely be sufficient to repay our debts. If we can buy enough time for that to happen, we'll be able to overcome this trial.
Good, Natsuhi. Continue.
But Kinzo is already dead. The doctors and servants are preparing his funeral. You were about to contact the family members. By your own hand, you will bring an end to this ploy for a time. How charming is the guillotine where you lower the blade yourself? Ah. Startled, Natsuhi looked up at the ceiling. There wasn't actually anything there. But, even so, Natsuhi had found something.
So the magical power has descended.
Natsuhi, have you made up your mind? What magic of miracles do you desire from me? Cover up Kinzo's death. I love this song. Once again, all of those who had witnessed Kinzo's corpse were gathered in the study, including all of these big fucking liars. Kraus was still impatient and clutching at his head. Genji was expressionless as ever. Nanjo and Kumasawa wore bewildered expressions on their faces. But in stark contrast to all of them, Natsuhi wore an resolute expression. Dear, let me ask you one more time. Your plan for raising money is absolutely certain.
Yeah, totally. I'm not an idiot. Give it a year. No, just a year, a half a year. It will certainly bear fruit.
But it's just impossible to hope for anything right now. Then we will wait. But you said it yourself. Father's already dead. Father has not passed away. He's still there, healthy as ever. When Natsuhi said this, everyone jumped and looked up, because they instantly understood what those words meant. However, Kraus alone didn't get it right away and asked her, "What do you mean by that?" Of course Kraus didn't get it, because Kraus is a fucking idiot. Father's already, in reality, right there. I will say it again. Father is still in good health. Wink, wink. Hint, hint. Nudge, nudge. He is busy with his research, so he'll be even less able to leave his study than usual. Because of this, we must handle all external affairs ourselves, so that Father can devote himself to his research without being burdened by meaningless tasks. In short, nothing will change from the way things have been. Do you understand, Genji?
Yes.
The furniture of the One-Winged Eagle will continue to serve the master. Kumasawa? And you, Dr. Nanjo? Do you understand what I'm saying? Why did I return that voice? Fuck.
Oh, is it truly all right, Natsui-san? It may be true that father passed away today, but if everyone right here, right now, believes we can revive father with magic.
Oh. Magic, you say?
It's impossible, madam. That's just too much. The time of death will be made clear during the autopsy. We can't stop it from looking suspicious. Father will not pass away, so there will be no reason for that to be an autopsy. Of course, she wasn't planning to make it seem like Kinzo would live forever. The fake life given to Kinzo would only last until Kraus could repay his debts. After that, Kinzo's soul would finally be able to rest in peace. Nanjo repeatedly said that the time of death would be discovered during the autopsy, but Natsuhi kept saying that this wouldn't be a problem.
Hi, Eliana.
Father will not pass away by being reported dead. I see. He'll be reported missing. After clapping his hands together, Kraus stood up, shaking his fist. We chillin' tonight, getting very caffeinated. Yes. Once we've managed to pay back the debt and finish our preparations for laying father to rest, we will announce that father has disappeared. Rokonjima's vast, uncultivated forest was a perfect place to stage a disappearance. I gotta pull an all-nighter. One day, Kinzo would go out to the forest for a walk and never return. So I'm just drinking so much fucking caffeine. Like, I'm drinking coffee tonight. I got it all set up. I just gotta start it. Wait, no, I got it wrong. They would search for him without success and then be forced to report his disappearance. And that's the whole 7-year thing they mentioned in episode 1. If he disappears, we can file a report of his death even without a corpse. In other words, we can hide him long enough to have him declared legally dead. What do you think, Dr. Nanjo? There won't be any problems that way. Yes, that might work.
Is this really okay, madam? If we stay silent, then I'm sure we could keep the master's death a secret. However, if we were to slip up even once and let someone find out, we would all go to jail for mistreatment of a corpse. If that's a crime in Japan.
Kumasawa, don't be so loud. Father is sleeping right over there, correct? Are you trying to wake him?
It isn't a corpse. Kinzo is sleeping. As Natsuhi said that, Kinzo lay quietly on the bed as though there was nothing at all odd about her words. What the fuck? Beatrice! Fucking bring it in! Give me a hug, Beatrice! The fucking... Where my hug at? Oh my god. Come, try to remember. What form did you have? What sort of life did you enjoy? Once again, a storm of gold butterflies started to swirl, covering Kinzo's cold body. It's all about belief, baby. It's all about belief. Then, after the butterflies exploded into fine gold powder and disappeared, just like those fairy tales that have been told over and over since long ago, Kinzo slowly opened his eyes and sat up. Father!
We are tripping balls here, Natsuhi. Let me first make one thing clear. I did not coax you into doing this because of my attachment to life.
You liar. Don't tell me you didn't anticipate this at least a little. How does it feel, Kinzo? How is your body?
It isn't bad, but it feels somewhat like being in a dream.
I feel light. You're a being that wasn't permitted to remain in this world, yet you still remain here. Don't stop complaining about a little discomfort now. Is your body truly all right? Is it really okay?
Actually, it feels quite pleasant. If this is what the world after death feels like, playing the ghost might not be half bad.
How is this, Natsuhi? Kinzo has revived. That means a funeral is unnecessary. Your hardship has been resolved. Beatrice. As Natsuhi tried to find words of gratitude amidst her confusion, Beatrice waggled her pointer finger and spoke. There was no need for thanks. A ruler is allowed to be proud. I will not pay heed to requests, but I will follow orders. Even so, I'll say it. Oh, even so, I'll say it. Thank you. This way, you've bought some time for my husband. We will handle the rest. Be warned, Natsuhi. Kinzo may be revived, but that is not an eternal thing. Remember what it said? Remember what they said at the beginning of episode 3 with like the pot being fixed? But it eventually will break again? Like that. Did I forget to brush my hair? I'm really good. It will only continue as long as my magic does. Be warned that the eternal... Where'd I get the word eternal from? Oh, line above. Be warned that the magic-resisting toxin might destroy the magic. You must understand the laws of magic correctly and work hard to maintain it. I can show you a miracle, but it is your role to grasp it and hold it. Of course, we definitely won't neglect the miracle you've given us. Very well. Yes, it would appear Master needs to be changed out every once in a while, just like floor mats. That is a weird allegory. That is a very weird allegory. Oh my gosh. I like it. I shall serve you. Ushiramiya Natsui. I am the Ushiramiya family alchemist, the Golden Witch Beatrice. Call my name. Whenever you wish, I shall appear and grant you a miracle. Thank you. I am Ushiramiya Natsui. I will employ you and protect the honor of the Ushiramiya family. Umineko no naku koro ni nichiru. Nocturne of Truth and Illusions. Look, this time it's Battler with a book. Battler's gonna get a cape eventually, which is gonna be sick as fuck. $1995 Ushiramiya conference? Hold the phone. Whoa! The rose garden was truly splendid this year. The roses were blooming like crazy, as if competing with each other. In that rose garden, Kinzo, Kanon, and Natsuhi could be seen. So, I'm a little confused. Was that last scene before or after this scene? But you gave a gift for me. Wait, how do I see? Wait. Where do I see that? Oh, you have a gift for me. Okay. Once episode 5 is done. Ooh, I'm excited. This is gonna be like a really fucking long stream, by the way, because I have nothing to do. And I gotta take somebody to the airport at 3 a.m. Ooh, your favorite Umineko video. That'll be fun. Hi, Binga. An AMV? Fuck yeah. That shit's classic.
Once again, the flowers have grown wonderfully this year. It must be the result of your care.
Thank you very much. The weather just happened to be good this year. Thanks to your care, the garden is even more beautiful than usual. Good work. Thank you very much.
If today weren't so special, we might have been able to admire the roses while enjoying some black tea.
Kinzo shrugged. Today was the family conference. When it came to the other siblings' businesses, none of the news had been good. On the contrary, those siblings probably planned to turn this conversation to the topic of Kinzo's remaining life. And hold a quiet feud over the inheritance.
Those people are quite unpleasant. By the way, what about Kraus? Is that debt repayment plan of his proceeding well?
Wait, did they keep Kinzo? Did they lie about Kinzo's life for over 2 years? Because this idea of a debt repayment plan is... Okay, so he died before the family conference of 85. So there was a whole, like, year and a half where he was dead. Whoa. So he didn't, like, die between the 1985 and 86 conferences. He died before the 85 one. Wow. Okay. That changes things. Not a lot, but wow, I didn't think he'd be dead for that long. My assumption was that he had died between 85 and in the October 4th, 86. Okay.
In a year, in 87, I shall be opening a pizza parlor in America. The Bite of 87.
They went a full year. They went 2 years without seeing him. Freddie Beatrice. Golden Freddy Beatrice. It does seem to be a realistic plan. However, it's a plan on a quite large scale, and it doesn't seem to be bearing fruit as well as he'd expected.
If possible, I would have hoped to have that resolved before today's family conference.
Yes, my apologies. Are you sure you're okay, Kinzo? Casually walking around in a place like that. Hi, Beatrice again. How had she gotten up there? Well, it's fairly pointless to wonder about that sort of thing when you're dealing with a witch. Beatrice was casually sitting on the roof of the arbor, almost as though she had been basking in the sun. Those relatives are like a massive lump of the magic-resisting toxin, and they'll be intruding in on us. If you bump into them, your soul will evaporate in an instant.
I am already dead. Evaporating would be no detriment.
We can't have that happen.
Please, for the sake of the Yoshirimiya family, lend us your strength just a little longer.
Natsui, it seems the boat carrying the relatives has left the harbor. Perhaps it's about time to bring an end to this walk of yours. Is that so? Thank you. Please return to the study, father.
My. How tiresome to go back inside when the weather is perfect.
Good weather? Rokenjima's pretty, actually, methinks. Don't grumble, Kidzo. Right now, you're nothing more than a ghost I gave life to. It'll be troublesome for both me and Natsui if you're scattered away by the toxin. Just be a good boy. Set yourself away in the study and wrap a blanket around yourself or something.
Merely receiving the chance to enjoy these roses after death makes me an extremely fortunate man. I understand. I shall return to the study. Shablagoo, but I would like some black tea. Canon, tell Genji to bring me some. Perhaps some Marco Polo would do well today.
Certainly.
Then let us go our separate ways, Natsui.
Yeah, because Beatrice is like... Beatrice is vibes based. There's a lot of Beatrice vibes. There's like Beatrice the person and then Beatrice the vibes. Like being born out of people's like suspicion and greed and avarice, like shit like that. Certainly, hell hath no fury, right? I think I just said it, like, in my notes. She's just bad vibes manifest. What did I say? Something like that.
And let us go our separate ways, Natsui. You must conduct the family conference splendidly in my absence.
Of course, father. He can't say it in front of them, but my husband is already the Yoshirimiya family head, and I will do all I can to ensure that I don't embarrass him as his wife.
Compared to Kraus, who's had a stomachache since this morning, you are so very composed, Natsui. You're out here tripping balls, imagining at least 2 people. You're doing great, Natsui. You're just hallucinating people. It's fine. My son is quite hopeless.
My husband is talented in his own way. Supporting him where he's weak is my duty as his wife. Kraus always with his tummy ache. Frickin' Natsui with her headache. I feel like Natsui would be one of those people that drinks like 15 Diet Cokes a day. They're drinking the Rokonjima water. The Rokonjima water that makes you fall in love with servants.
Indeed. Carry out your task with precision. I will make sure to stay shut away so I don't get in the way of this farce. Cannon, go with father to the study.
Oh wait, Cannon, go with father to the study, and then have Genji prepare some black tea.
I'm not so senile that I need your help to stand up. Here I go!
That is so goofy. Refusing Cannon's attempt to lend him a hand, Kinzo rose from the flower bed he had been sitting on. The retired head left everything in Natsui's hands and returned to the study at a gentle pace. You're looking well. We love... Exactly. They're just like in a perpetual state of Montezuma's revenge. A lead pipe theory. You possess a sense of dignity reminiscent of Kinzo's deceased wife, who I really want to know more about. On the off chance that the magic-resisting toxin does reach father, will the magic dissolve in an instant? Indeed, in the blink of an eye. I can vanish whenever I please, but if someone already dead such as Kinzo loses his form, he'll be instantly tossed away like dust by the winds of the sun. You must take care. Also, the other crack theory I have is that Shannon and Cannon are like this alchemical magnum opus called the Rebus, the divine hermaphrodite. And part of my theory about that is that Shannon's name, Sayo, means like night, or like of the night or something like that. And I think my prediction is that Cannon's name is going to be something like day related. All my Castlevania fans know the Rebus. But I think they're the Rebus. I think they might be a failed Rebus, actually. If you want to look at this like magically, that is, and they're just some orphans that Kinzo adopted, because Kinzo's actually a super cool guy who loves orphans. Yes, I understand. You may have talent as a witch. The magic-resisting toxin has been building up in your system over the years. And yet, you are still able to understand magic. I don't know. I've never played Elden Ring. I'm not like a Souls guy at all. I'm like such an easy person. I'm like such a quick person who gives up shit. Like, I would give up instantly. If you and I had met during your youth, you might have become a powerful witch by now. I am the wife of Ushiramiya Kraus, the family head. I would become even a witch or a demon to protect his honor. I am deeply grateful for the power of your magic. I wouldn't have been able to protect the honor of the Ushiramiya family without you. Wait, I'm gonna you know what? Not now. I'd like to enjoy it with just the two of us women drinking tea. I think a friend of mine went to Sri Lanka, sent me some black tea with a wonderful rose fragrance. Ah, you mean Dimbula? That isn't bad. Then you should also have some patis on the side. I'm not saying either of those things, right? You must serve me some as a reward if I manage to trick everyone for this entire family conference. It's a promise. Understood. I promise. Then I'll see you later. Yes, later. I actually think Beatrice killed Natsuhi and like replaced her, but okay. The witch made her body crumble into the rustling winds, became gold flower petals, and scattered into thin air. Natsuhi watched her go, then turned on her heels and headed for the mansion. And then there were none left in the rose garden. Okay, then. It's break time. Got any complaints so far? None at all. If you have to pee, why don't you just go and do it? Wait. Not yet. Not right now. I want to get to 1 hour before I even think about starting my 9 p.m. coffee so I can stay up all night. a rude thing to say. Kinzo's already dead, right? But he's walking around and talking, isn't he? Doesn't that mean this is magic? Of course, I doubt this move will work on you after all this time burn. But what about you, Battler? Isn't this weird? Don't you have to accept the existence of the magic that revived Kinzo? yeah. If you're trying to imitate Beato, it's pissing me off, so stop it right now. Figured it out? Then come on, how are you gonna answer, Battler? Kinzo was just out for a stroll. Why not act like you always do and start holding your head crying, this makes no sense? Come on, use that old, it's all useless catchphrase, and then give me one of them classic nonsensical counter-arguments. There's no way a human who's supposed to be dead could be walking around, right? God, I think the gods have gifted me with a whole ass Lambda chapter, or episode. Or I get to voice Lambda Delta for a whole fucking episode. What is this power? I have to take somebody to the airport. So I'm gonna be up till like... I'm gonna be up for like... I have to take somebody to the airport at 3 a.m. So I'm just staying up, I'm drinking coffee. And then I have work at 8 a.m. So it's gonna be a goofy fucking time for me. But I'll live. And then as soon as I get back, I'm just falling asleep forever. I'm never waking up. Okay, where was I? There's no way a human who's supposed to be dead could be walking around, right? It's just all because of some unknown virus called the Rokenjima syndrome that causes mass delusions. Or do the scales of the mysterious form of butterfly that only lives on Rokenjima happen to be hallucinogenic? Or is it all because of a mysterious secret organization called the Mountain Dogs made an as of yet undiscovered drug called Puru Puru Piku Puyu, which causes mass delusions? Let me hear tons of this wonderful crap. Yeah. Just shut the fuck up. This isn't even a problem. Grandfather is dead at this point in time. There's no way he exists. They're just imagining this shit. The only reason he's able to act like he's alive like this is because of Aunt Natsui's lie, her attempt to make it through the family conference while hiding grandfather's death. Oh? It's Natsui's lie. You can revive the dead by lying? Wouldn't that make it Natsui's magic? This world is like a brown tube before you've looked in it. It's the world of the cat box before you open it. As long as Aunt Natsui says she took a walk with grandfather, and as long as no one can confirm that it's a lie, it's possible to display Aunt Natsui taking a walk in the rose garden with grandfather as Natsui's reality. That means it's possible for grandfather to appear. That extremely unflattering applause was coming from Baron Castle. Bravo. You're much calmer without Beato around. Quiet. You shut up too. Wait a second, Battler. According to your theory, sure, it might be possible for Kinzo to appear if Natsui's the only person there. If Natsui claims to have observed Kinzo in a world with no one except Natsui in it, then no one can deny it, right? But Cannon was in the same place, and he was looking at Kinzo, right? How would you explain that? I'm so past this shit, Lambda. Are we really trusting Cannon? Yeah, that's pretty much... I'm gonna be on 3 hours of sleep, so... I hate morning shifts. I'm such a night shift type guy. That's no problem at all. Kanon-kun is a servant who works for the Ushiramiya family. Aunt Natsui probably ordered him to keep to her story so that she could hide grandfather's death. Because of that, Kanon can see grandfather even though he shouldn't exist, just like Aunt Natsui can. What are you saying by that? Too bad, Lambda. Battler isn't gonna fall for that kind of child's play anymore. Shame show? Well, this is nothing more than an opening, before the game's really started. Like an aperitif before a meal. Aperitif. I hate that word. An appetizer at a bar. Green tea at a sushi restaurant. Shut up. So we aren't gonna get anywhere unless I say it again in blue text, huh? Aperitif. Looks like it. Would you mind? The reason grandfather's strolling around like nothing happened, even though he's already dead, is that people who want to make it seem as though he is alive created an illusion of him. People who think the same way can share in that illusion. Then they'll talk as though grandfather actually exists and was with them until a second ago. That's why he's strolling around like it's perfectly natural. Because of this, the illusion of grandfather is unable to appear in front of people who aren't in on this with Aunt Natsui. That's why they made up the story of him shutting himself away in this study and refusing to come out. In the games before now, grandfather has always locked himself up in his study. We never met him directly. Except that one time I was really drunk. That's like the exception. But I don't really think that's a big deal, considering all the other shit that happened at the end of that episode. Kinzo appearing is like the least surprising thing. However, some people said things that made us think he was locked up in his study in a bad mood, such as claiming to have met him only a short while ago. We blindly accepted their statements and believed that grandfather was in the study. That's why it was possible for an illusion of grandfather to exist in the study. That's right, in the games before now, the only people who met with grandfather were Uncle Kraus, Aunt Natsui, and the servants, because they all stuck to the same story. An illusion of grandfather was able to exist on this island, making it seem like he was alive. You even showed us a scene at the beginning of this game, where Aunt Natsui convinced Dr. Nanjo and the rest to cover up grandfather's death. I'm not gonna fall for a cheap trick like that after all this time. But I also don't believe that Natsui's the person that killed everybody. I think Natsui has been killed and replaced. Well, not bad. But I was hoping for the unknown drug Puru Puru Piku Poyo. There's no way he'd say something so ridiculous, right? After all, supposing that such a thing exists would be just as bad as surrendering to the fantasy genre. Whether it's a virus or a drug or an illness, anything that hasn't been discovered yet is in violation of Nox's fourth commandment. Hold up. Let me look that up, because I don't know what that is. Oh. Okay, yep. I'm stopping. Stop. It stopped. Didn't look at anything. Nothing was revealed. I looked at the picture of him and that was it. What do you mean, fourth commandment? Nox's fourth. It is forbidden for unknown drugs or difficult to understand scientific devices to be used. The rule states that such things can't be used during a murder. What the hell? Unknown drug X and unknown scientific device X should be the best kinds of weapon to use when fighting against a witch. That's what I'm talking about. All those violate the rules of a proper mystery. Supposing an unknown virus, an unknown drug, an unknown sickness, or an unknown XXX was was used puts it totally in the fantasy genre. My condolences. If that was your theory, then it's game over for you. This game is definitely likes playing with genre. Like, this game is probably all about playing with genre. It is hood and it is good. Hey, what are you talking about? You think you've been fighting in direct opposition to Beato, but that's not actually true. You haven't been in direct opposition. You've been fighting along with her from a slightly different angle. All this playing detective you've done hasn't been fantasy versus mystery. It's only been fantasy versus anti-fantasy. Smiling Burn fucks me up so bad. It's so weird. I'm not used to her smiling. It gives me the fucking creeps. I don't have a clue what you're talking about. But there's one thing I do get. It sounds like you're saying there's something wrong with my fighting style. Ugh. We're fighting to kill the fantasy known as the illusion of the witch. It means interpreting this tale as a proper mystery. In other words, from the very start, we have to ignore any and all elements that violate the taboos of the mystery genre. Ignore, you say? For example, several closed room murders have occurred in the games before now, right? Yeah. At every single crime scene, you enthusiastically check with Beato to make sure there are no hidden doors, right? Then that leads to a flashy bunch of red truths weaving together all over the place. Almost as though that itself is the battle. I call that a waste of time. After all, it's clearly specified in Nox's third. It is forbidden for hidden passages to exist. In the mystery genre, hidden passages mustn't exist. So if you want to interpret everything as a... But that kills Winchester theory! We can't do that! Well, Winchester theory is more about, like, closed rooms having... There's more to Winchester theory than that. In the closed rooms. That's, like, actually the part where I think Winchester theory doesn't apply. And for those watching. Oh, proper foreshadowing. Well, in that case, I think there is, like, foreshadowing to allude to Winchester theory being real. Okay, you give me my permission to read the 10 rules? Okay, I had the tab open still. Ronald Knox was a mystery writer in the early part of the 20th century who belonged to the Detection Club, a society of people peopled by such legendary mystery writers as Agatha Christie, Dorothy Sayers, G.K. Chesterton, and E.C. Bentley. Among his novels, The Viaduct Murder, Double Cross Purposes, Still Dead. Knox was also a Catholic priest, which is perhaps why he was tempted to write the 10 Commandments of detective fiction. If you read such stories, thou shalt obey these laws. 1. The criminal must be mentioned in the early parts of the story, but must not be anyone whose thoughts the reader has been allowed to follow. 2. All supernatural or preternatural agencies are ruled out as a matter of course. 3. No more than one secret room or passage is allowable. Whoa, that's a crazy-ass 5th rule. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to change the wording of that a little bit. 4. No hitherto undiscovered poisons may be used. nor appliance, which will need a long scientific explanation at the end. Rule number 5. No person hailing from the People's Republic of China or the Republic of China must figure in the story. That's not what he actually said. But he actually used an old-timey racial slur. But we're not going to say that. 6. No accident must ever help the detective, nor must he ever have an unaccountable intuition which proves to be right. 7. The detective must not himself commit the crime. Especially the old-timey ones. 8. The detective must not light on any clues which are instantly produced for the inspection of the reader. 9. The stupid friend of the detective, the Watson, must not conceal any thoughts which pass through his mind. His intelligence must be slightly, but very slightly below that of the average reader. Watson is the main character of Sherlock Holmes. Like, he's like the main, like, perspective we get Holmes through. I don't really think he's stupid. He just kind of sucks a little bit. Twin brothers and doubles generally must not appear unless we have been duly prepared for them. I wonder if we've been prepared for the concept of doubles or twins. We kind of have been. They've definitely been... Oh, that's interesting. It's kind of funny that you say that. It's weird how, like, even though maybe his idea might have been progressive, like, the language he uses now, we would have considered in and of itself offensive. But I see what you're saying, Beanga. Like, I understand that. That's actually really interesting that you mentioned that. I'm gonna actually go start my coffee and light a candle. I'll be right back, and then I have to be right back in, like, 5 minutes to get my coffee. That's super interesting. Be right back. Alright, coffee's brewing. Candle is lit. It's actually a coffee-scented candle. I can't really smell it that well because I lost my sense of smell the second time I got COVID, but sometimes I can smell it, and it smells pretty good. Alright, let's get rid of my beer back, and let's keep jumping into it. So if you want to interpret everything as a proper mystery... Entering this whole debate over whether there are hidden doors or not means you've lost the beginning, see? After all, there aren't any. As soon as you suspect they might exist, it's already game over for you. But I don't think there's any secret doors in the closed rooms. I think there might be a secret passage that connects the guest house and the... I think that's a really interesting perspective. In other words, you assume that can't start theory building just because no one's yet proven that hidden doors don't exist at the crime scene. That's why I call you naive and a failure at the mystery genre. My shit is I'm gonna go see Knives Out 3. I love those Knives Out movies. I think they're fucking great. I think they're goofy fun. They're fun movies. That's why I call you a knife fan. Mr. Genre, you've already lost once you start thinking that. You thought you were waging a fight to interpret everything like a mystery novel, right? Then you've got to follow the conventions of the mystery genre. Well, that's it in a nutshell. Hidden doors must not exist at any of the crime scenes. That means any time spent asking whether they exist or not is wasted. I think I know what you're talking about. I've heard about it somewhere. Is this like the 10 basic rules for mystery novels or something? Yeah, that's right. There are 10 wedges for drilling witches brandished by Nox, the peerless archbishop of witch hunting. Those are the true weapons with which to fight and defeat the fantasy known as the illusion of the witch head on. It's just like you, Burn. To bring in such a troublesome weapon, that's the fantasy genre's arch enemy. So you'll deny the existence of hidden doors right from the start without even investigating the crime scene? That sounds more like fantasy to me. Lambda, who's in charge of the witch's side? Lambda, who's in charge of the witch's side is fantasy. I'm the one who's fighting her. Mystery. What are you? You're just barely anti-fantasy, doing nothing but dodging over and over and denying fantasy. You're opposed to absolutely everything, but you can't make any counter proposals. You're like a politician from some country. Shut up. I don't come here to speak gibberish with you two. Continue the story right now. Be quiet. That sleeping princess behind you looks like she's in pain, doesn't she? Is Beatrice still fucking wiped out? When he turned around, he saw Beato's living corpse resting in a chair. However, sweat glistened all over her body, and it felt like she was breathing a little harder than normal. Somebody slipped her a 50 milligram edible, and she's fucking seeing 100 milligram edible, and she's seeing stars right now. She's manually breathing. She's so high, she's manually breathing. She looked as though she was suffering from a high fever. Beato, what's wrong? Are you okay? What do you mean, is she okay? She's zoinked out. You sure do say some weird things. Aren't you fighting to kill this girl? We've rewound the 5th game for your benefit. But right now, Burn has done a good job cornering her opponent and is about to break through the illusion of the witch. Her existence has been almost completely denied. It's only natural that she's suffering. Just now, even you smashed the illusion of the witch by saying there's no way Kinzo exists. Here's the proof that your attack reached Beato. This agony of hers. I tried to at least wipe away the sweat on Battler, why are you being nice to Beatrice? Stop it. She literally killed your sister. Like, tortured her. If she was ever real to begin with. That's kind of tricky, but... It's true I promised Beato that I'd let her die. But it was supposed to happen, peacefully. I wasn't planning to make her suffer first. My goal isn't to make the sleeping Beato suffer like this before killing her. As if they had seen right through to my mixed feelings, the two witches grinned. Oh god. Da, 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 da. Alright, I guess we're still at 85. Yeah, I guess so.
Dad only overheard because you kept yelling about the inheritance, right, Aniki?
It isn't my fault. It was just an unlucky coincidence, okay? You just happened to be in the corridor and heard it was an accident. I tell you, an accident.
Could you two give it a rest? Just call out bad luck this time and give it up. If you leave a man alone, his mood will pop right back to normal.
Hopefully Father's feelings weren't hurt so much he writes up some strange will. The relative took a deep breath and fell silent. Hold up, I think my coffee's ready. Give me like 2 minutes to put some creamer in. And we're getting some coffee because we're staying up all night. We've got coffee with vanilla creamer, and I just dipped my aglet and like half of my sweatshirt hoodie in it on accident, so hopefully that's infused a little plastic in it to make it even more delicious. I love microplastics, and I think they're actually really tasty. 8-year-old Maria. Okay, hold up. Let's unmute. Or not unmute, but untext box. Boo. Hey, you can't just jump around either, Maria. What'll you do if Angie-chan falls? Angie, little Angie was here? They brought, like, little baby Angie, like, 2 years old Angie here? Or, no, 5 years old? Do we get to see her? I really hope so. That'd be so cute.
Sorry to keep you waiting. The boat is ready. Okay, let's go. Won't get anywhere by complaining now.
We eagerly await your return to this island. I also might have huge naturals. Goda's sleeper build. Natsuhi was sitting on a bench in the rose garden. God, I love fucking Pier slopping all over this fucking game. Looking completely worn out. However, when she noticed that Kanon and Kumasawa were coming back, she immediately sat up straight, regaining the dignity of the head's wife. Did the boat leave? Yes. It departed just a minute ago. I see. Good job seeing them off. What is my husband doing? returned to his room a short while ago. Cannon is a fucking spy! I've been saying this since episode 1. And now it's even worse, because it's basically... We haven't been shown that Shannon and Cannon are aware of Kinzo's death, but I guarantee you they know. It's almost impossible that they don't know, actually. It hasn't been explicitly stated, heavily fucking implied. He's resting. Well, even Battler thinks that. So I don't really think I'm having that crazy an idea, but still. Since the previous day, Kraus had been almost overwhelmed by anxiety over the thought that Kinzo's death might be discovered. When the family conference ended, his weariness must have suddenly gotten a hold of him. However, the way he had refused to let even a sliver of his true intentions slip out, and the manner in which he'd managed to act as though everything was normal, showed that Kraus's nerve was nothing to sneeze at. How was it? Did they seem to notice anything suspicious about Father? Not at all. Eva-sama and the rest were having a big ruckus over how the master overheard them talking about the inheritance, right? Wasn't there panicking, just priceless? Yes, they were quite shaken up. But Kumasawa, you really are an actress. The way you panicked in the... You all panicked in the corridor made it seem like Father really was there? Ooh. Ooh, interesting. Thank you. Kumasawa is quite talented at that sort of thing. Really? Oh, come now. I don't deserve such praise. I always have to give Genji strict orders not to easily swallow your stories when you call in sick. Now that's just too harsh, madam. Liar Kumasawa, spy Cannon, big titty Goda. What's next? You really did a good job, both of you, as well as Genji and Shannon. We'll get your pay for a month's worth of past vacation time, as well as 5 extra days, just as promised. Thick Nanjo. Exactly. BBL Nanjo. That's what we were talking about last stream. He got a Brazilian bald lift. It's when they make the bump in his head like extra ass-like. God, that is such Pier slop from me. Fuck. This is where he got his BBL. Sure. Wait. Consider this a confidential benefit. Talk with Genji when you collect your pay so that the other servants don't find out. I'm here all fucking night, Eric. Fucking bangers like this. Sure, we understand, right? Kumasawa-san, your voice is too loud. Oh, not good, not good. Oh. Good point. Let's leave it at that for the time being. We should all return to our regular duties. That's right. If I'd Goro prepare some special tea, tell him to serve it. God, I haven't drank coffee at night since college. And like writing history papers at fucking 1 a.m., fucking 4 coffees in, fucking 50 footnotes in. Good times. Natsuhi let them know she wanted to be left alone for a while so she could drink some black tea in the rose garden. The black tea that had been carried all this way to the bench was the Sri Lankan tea Dimbula that she had promised Beato, along with some patis. I'm gonna look up what patis is so I'm like clued in. Fish sauce? Or a plant? No, that can't be it, because that's from the Philippines. I'm getting fucking lost. Never mind. Let me eat my fish sauce alone. Sitting on either side of the snack, staring reading is hard, staring at it curiously, the wife of the head and her witch could be seen. So this patis is... Just assumed it would be some big sweet. Apparently Natsuhi, not realizing that it had a... How the hell is... How is Natsuhi gonna be so white, even though she's Japanese, she can't handle a little fucking spice in her food? God damn. Really, Natsuhi? The most white Japanese woman in existence. Literal fucking Karen. I respect her, but she's fucking Karen. To describe it in Japanese terms, it was like fried dumplings stuffed with mashed curry-flavored potatoes. As a household dish, it probably would be pretty popular with the kids. However, it was something of a shock to Natsuhi, who had expected that a treat to go with some tea would be sweet. Didn't you know? Dubula always goes with this. Black tea always goes with cookies. Oh, but chocolate is good too. You must have sweet bean jelly with Japanese tea, although salted kombu also works. Chinese tea goes with Chinese dumplings, though I like mooncakes too. I'm surprised. You know a lot about various cultures, don't you? Well, I haven't been living 1,000 years for nothing. I've tried refined teas from all over the world. Perhaps you could call it a journey through the world of tea. That does seem like it would be a wonderful way to travel the world. Before today, I never knew one could enjoy tea like this. I will treasure this experience. I cannot leave Rokenjima. This is the only way I can travel. What about you? I'm sure you've elegantly traveled the world like any wealthy wife might. Before Jessica was born, my husband took me to many countries. Before marrying, I'd never traveled once overseas, so each time was a fresh and new experience. Sounds like you were also born into a very rigid family. It was strict, but they gave me a wonderful upbringing. It'd be rude to my father and mother to call that rigid. That's a pretty eloquent way to call it rigid. Kraus might have pitied Natsuhi, or he might have wanted to take her away from the rigid Ushiramiya family for a little bit and let her rest. Or he might simply have wanted to take his wife around countries he knew well, to show off everything he knew. Unlike father, my husband is fond of Asian nations. Hong Kong, Taiwan, Korea, Thailand. You know, I imagine fucking Nazi would actually call them by like old names like Hong Kong, Formosa, Goryeo, Siam. I think we also went to Malaysia. Or Chosun is the other Korean name, I think. That Kraus. Was he trying to rebel against Kinzo's Western tastes? But Asia is good too. After all, the Japanese are strongly influenced by the West. When they think of foreign countries, only Western ones come to mind. But you mustn't forget the East. Yeah, I wonder if Japanese people have like bad feelings about Asian countries or something. I wonder what that might be about. I myself knew a few things about the West, but I knew very little about the East. I seem to recall my husband making fun of me, now and then during our travels. Beato subtly peered into Natsui's heart, as the latter grumbled that the trips had all been very tiring. Young Natsui? Whoa. Why is she looking kind of cute, though? Are you listening? This is called an Erika nut. It's a popular luxury food around here. Ooh, where are they? Erika nut. Philippines. But also, like, maybe Polynesia. It looked like a small, round, gourd-like nut that had been smashed with cucumber wedged in it. At a glance, it looked as though it would probably taste like pickles. I see. So I just bite it here? As she tried to bite into the one her husband was holding, he suddenly moved it away. He's flirting with her. It felt kind of embarrassing, like she was a fish after some bait. Whoa, wait up. You have to eat it a certain way. Yes, you were supposed to bite it. Bite it. Chew it. But don't swallow it. Huh. Even though you bite it and chew it, you can't swallow it? Yes. Bite and chew, don't swallow. Don't drink the juice. It'll make your stomach hurt. I don't understand. Why would you eat something like that? Think of it as something like gum. Chew it and enjoy the flavor, and then take the scraps you've bitten in the juice and spit it out into a paper cup like this. Dear, the inside of your mouth is bright red. Wipe it off, wipe it off. Eek. Even her favorite handkerchief, which she had wiped Krause's mouth with, had bright red marks on it. Did she, like, stick her handkerchief in his mouth? Something that's poison if eaten or drunk, and it makes the inside of your mouth so bright red, and having to spit something out after you put it in your mouth, how indecent. Thinking this, Natsuhi adamantly refused Krause's invitation. No way, I don't need any, it's awful, and This is a cross-cultural experience. What's the point of traveling if we don't do things that only can be done here? I love switching up all the words as I read. Krause kept chewing, ignoring the fact that even his lips were being colored bright red. Father likes these too. He must have ordered them long ago because he used to chew away at them on the mansion's terrace. Although it seems he stopped ever since you arrived. Look here. Father, the person you respect even more than me, enjoyed these all the time. Look, don't be shy. Take some. No, stop it. Stop it, dear. During travel, Krause had the innocence of a child. He didn't even conceal his jealousy of the respect Natsuhi normally gave Kinzo. Just being able to see that side of her husband made traveling all the way to another country worthwhile. Krause urged her even harder to bite it, but Natsuhi, undaunted, ran up from place to place and finally yelled that he was being too pushy. Krause was miffed the whole bus ride. Oh my god, they used the word miffed? I've been saying that this whole fucking game, and now they're using it. Crazy. Love that. What a child to let a little thing like this get him down. Well, she's being lame. What a great relationship they have. Then, a native tour guide in the bus took out one of those Erika nuts and started explaining about it. It apparently had been a beloved luxury item in these parts since ancient times, similar to tobacco. Just like in Natsuhi's case, it was starting to be disliked by young people and was becoming obsolete. Furthermore, it was treated as a good luck charm in this area, and was known as a symbol for couples. She looked at her husband's face. He turned away abruptly, but it looked like his cheeks had gotten a little red. So, you then leaned on your husband and held his hand, didn't you? Did you? What the heck? You and your husband share a pretty pure love, don't you? Did you get all fired up? You know, that night. Like, that night. Whoa. I mean, they were talking about, like, chewing, but not swallowing. Natsuhi never swallows. I can't believe I fucking said that. That's so awful. Fuck me. That's so bad. Oh, fuck. I could keep making awful jokes about that. Oh, shit. Red-faced and avoiding Beato's eyes, Natsuhi tried to hide her embarrassment by swallowing the patisse whole, chewing with her cheeks puffed out like a blowfish. Beato said, "Yep, this is the best snack anyone could have with tea," and nodded several times, a broad smile on her face. However, that's only how it was when we were newlyweds. Right now, I cannot even leave Rokkenjima. I'm a bird in a cage. Oh, where have we seen that theme before? Well, it's the same for me. Yeah, Beatrice, exactly. I can keep dying, but I just can't escape Rokkenjima. I'm also a bird in a cage. I don't know much about you, and I won't pry. However, I do see that you face circumstances not to be taken lightly. I have no desire to act like the chief prisoner here. Let's be friendly as fellow birds in this cage. I've taken a liking to you. Really? Thank you. The instructions and orders... Wait, why am I... Okay, I fused their voices there. The instructions and orders you gave the servants for this family conference were superb. You took everything from where Kinza would be, and what he did and what he left behind, and put it all together splendidly without any contradictions. That detailed written plan of yours had the same beauty as a high-level magic circle. To make it look like Kinzo actually existed and was living life his own way, she had written his schedule for the day down to the finest detail and made servants follow it to the letter. When did he meet whom and where, and what did he leave them? When did he do what and where, and what changed? As a result, even though the relatives never saw Kinzo once, they hadn't suspected in the slightest that he hadn't been there. So, like, when they, in episode 2, when they were giving Beatrice and Kinzo the dinner, it was fucking bullshit. Beatrice might have been there. It's not clear. I think she was wearing her, like, human Beatrice outfit, so she actually might have been there. Unclear. Ava and the rest truly believed that Kinzo had just happened to be walking through the hall when he heard them talking about the inheritance and went into a rage. Everything had gone just as Natsuhi's plan had predicted, down to the finest detail. And cooperation by the servants had also worked smoothly, down to the finest detail. We shouldn't maybe be repeating that line in 2 sentences, but okay. We had to stop this secret from getting out no matter the cost. That's why I double-checked the plan thoroughly. Your willpower and attention to detail summon success with certainty. Certainty, that's an important theme. As a witch, it seems that you're in Lady Lambda Delta's camp. At your current level, as soon as you become self-aware of that as magic, you will be worthy of calling yourself a witch apprentice. If you call something like that magic, then that would make Kumasawa the witch of feigned illnesses. Oh, honey, you don't know the half of it. It's only on busy days that she calls us to say she's taking the day off because of her bad back. Like every year's family conference, for example. Oh no, you've got Kumasawa completely wrong there. She's a witch of a much, much higher level. If you knew what she really was, it'd shock you. What the fuck is up with Kumasawa? Bum, bum. Watching these two have their pleasant chat was another pair of... with steam rising from their black tea. However, this second pair was in a world that the first couldn't see, where the golden roses bloomed. Ronove was kind enough to make some of that Dimbula tea too. Oh, that's so cute. They're having tea together. Kraus loved likes a chewer. Oh god. It felt as though Beato muttered something. For the first time, it felt as though something had gotten through to her. Surely, she seemed to have taken an interest in the black tea and felt like drinking it. Thinking this, Battler took Beato's cup in her hand, making her hold the cup. And then he's gonna be like, "Here comes the plane! Woo!" And he feeds her the tea. Beato's eyes trembled sadly and her fingers shook, almost as though she couldn't even move her fingers as she wanted to. And was mourning the fact that she could no longer enjoy the tea she had once loved by her own power. That's how she looked. So Battler put his hands on Beato's. Oh, he actually is gonna do that. He's gonna hand feed her the tea. God, this ship is so good. Then, though it was only a single mouthful, Beato sipped. That is so cute. I really hope they're not related. I really hope they're not related. Oh, look. The days they'd been, or if they are related, let her be like let them be like third cousins, and then I'll be fine with it. Like Eleanor Roosevelt and Franklin FDR. Fuck, that is so crazy. Or like Tywin Lannister and Joanna Lannister. Like, let it be like that. Actually, no, they were actually cousins. I think they were cousins. The days that had been locked in a killing fest with red swords and blue wedges already seemed like the distant past. Now, not only was Beato unable to do that, it was even difficult for her to make her body do as she pleased. Even just drinking a mouthful of black tea like this was hard. But maybe Beato is actually an old lady. How is it? That rose aroma makes for a great black tea. Do you like it? Of course, Beato didn't respond. What happened to you? Is this another strategy? Are you pretending to be in a slump so you can shock me later? Oh, that face she made was so cute! Oh my goodness! I love Beatrice. I hate her, but I also love her. If that's what you're after, the same trick won't work again, so give it a rest. I was actually totally fine the whole time. I can't get fired up with you like this. Oh, they complete each other. They're like Batman and Robin. They're like Batman and the Joker. Hey, isn't it about time for you to start laughing loudly saying, "God, you dumbass," or something? Any kind of joke stop being funny if you drag it out too much. Especially if it's a rehash. Laugh. Just like you're cackling over there as you drink with Aunt Natsuhi. Can't you at least grin? Never again. This child will never laugh again. Get the fuck out of here, Virgilia. I know that's fucking you. Those sudden words were exceedingly cruel. Burn Castle? Okay, whatever. What can you say for sure? Don't you try to take Beato's right to laugh away from her. Oh, should I say it in red then? No, that'd be so fucked up! I shook my head furiously. Then, with an expression that didn't reveal her thoughts in the slightest, Burncastle spoke while looking at Beato's face, and the word she used was completely incomprehensible to me. Congratulations. You won. For what? Beato is like this as a result of your victory. What are you talking about? You said something interesting in a previous game. You said this would be torture where you both torment each other. That was right. It's torture for Beato as well, and he won that torture game. That's why Beato's soul was killed, why she became a doll-like corpse. The same thing happened to you, Battler. When you got all fucking princess mode over your fucking mom. Are you saying I did this to Beato? The battle ends when one of you loses in the will to try to win. As far as the battle between you and Beato goes, that was already concluded in the previous game. It probably happened without you noticing, though. In that case, why hasn't the game ended if I've already won? Because he hasn't proposed like an ironclad theory. Why is this game still continuing? The shackle attached to that girl's ankle. That's a rule Lambda made. Even if Beatrice tries to yield or gets discouraged or gives up, she isn't capable of stepping down from the game. That's the rule. Or maybe it's a curse. In the past, I supported you when it looked like you were gonna give in, though you probably couldn't perceive it. I assisted you by giving you hints and making things go your way. That's why you're able to be here now. Remember? Remember how I saved you? Berncastle stared at me. It's true I wasn't aware of it, but just maybe I was saved by her. In the same way Lambda is supporting Beato. In this time, Beato is on the verge of giving in. That's why Lambda's been giving her support this round, to keep her from giving in. That's why what the shackle is. By refusing to let her resign, she's rescued Beato within the game. Rescued her from what? Normally, there are only two ways for this game to end. Either one side will accept defeat and resign, or one side will win the game with a checkmate. Beato is about to collide with the first way. That's why Lambda crushed that chance and managed to just barely avoid losing. By the rules of this game, that's an impressive bit of support. So the only way this game can end now is if I win? At the very least, yeah, I was right. He needs to have an ironclad theory. Until I do win, this witch called Lambda Delta can probably try to buy time for Beato to make a comeback. But that'll probably just prolong Beato's suffering even more. Neither of us want that. Both Beato and I fought with all we had, trying to win. The game repeated several times because we were both giving it everything we could muster. Bring Beato back, because these two complete each other. Then, at one time, we confronted each other head-on with all of our strength, and Beato acknowledged her loss. She said she wanted me to end this game and entrusted everything to me. So Berncastle's words are the truth. She said it's my fault Beato's become a living corpse. That's true, but it's something both of us wanted. Our match has already been resolved. Even so, the game won't end. That's why Beato put her trust in me. She told me to win quickly and end this game. Now that the game's been resolved, letting it continue any further means endless torture for Beato. Nothing more than a nightmare. I've got to give her a perfect checkmate, end this game in the truest sense, and let her rest in peace. For that reason, I'll keep fighting. But by continuing the game, Beato's eternal torture will continue. She deserves at least a little eternal torture for the shit she pulled, so... Just a little bit of eternal torture. Not like an eternal torture, but just a little eternal. Like like a lowercase e eternal torture. For that time she, like, I don't know, kept killing Rosa. Even though Rosa probably deserved that shit. Or, like, turning Angie into a meat wad from Aqua Team Hunger Force, or shit like that. Beato did nothing wrong. It felt as though I could only let her sleep peacefully by slowly strangling her to death. That feels like a fucking... I'm starting to feel like truth doesn't matter anymore. I feel like the nature of truth is a very important theme in this game. As long as Beato's satisfied, who cares what happens in the game? Beato resigned. I'll abandon the truth of the illusion of the witch and return home with my family. Is there anything wrong with that? If only Lambda Delta hadn't placed the curse of that shackle on her, this battle would be over already. I found it detestable. This game, which I can't finish without tormenting Beato more, is detestable. What's this? Beato's starting to look like she's in pain every time you get closer to the truth, so you're suddenly going easy on her. Then go easy on her as much as you can. Why don't you just let Beato win while you're at it? Then your little sister can have a lonely, tragic future forced on her endlessly. That's not how it is. That's right. I have to return for Angie's sake as well. No, this isn't the time to start feeling compassion for Beato. In that case, make sure you kill her. Kill this witch without fail. No, I feel bad for Beatrice when she's all sad like that. Even though Beato was right there, Berncastle spoke without holding back. Your goal is to kill this woman. In the last game, you said it at Beato's request. You said, I'll kill you. Yeah, that may be true, but it doesn't mean you get to complain about it. Did you know? When you tear one of your fingernails out, it's better to do it in one go. Pulling it out like you do, timidly, twisting, slow hurts much, much more. What you're doing sounds much more like torture to me. If you have any compassion, kill her all at once. That's how killing works. That's none of your business. I'm the one who gets to decide how to perform her last rites. You and that Lambda Delta witch have nothing to do with this. I'll kill her. I won't let anyone else do it. As long as you don't lose that willpower. I'm betting on you. Okay? Make sure you don't forget. Unless this game is resolved, you'll never be released. You won't be allowed to abandon this game either. I get it. I know what Lambda's after. She wants to make you lose your will to fight, just like Beato. To make you a pair of living dolls to keep this world in perpetual equilibrium. You won't do that. You don't want that, do you? I wouldn't like it either. But why should I give a damn about what you want? Still, I won't throw this game away. I won't abandon my responsibility to fight against Beato. I'm glad our goals are the same. So you'll be able to kill this child without any hesitation, right? I think calling Beatrice like a child is interesting. I think that kind of reveals like nuggets of her true identity. And that she's actually not 1,000 years old. She's at most 19. No, don't pout like that, Beatrice. Do like your ha 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 ha. And smile and fucking be like, come on, Battler. That's right. This shit makes me sad. I have no way of knowing whether those words eased her pain or hurt her, but I can't tell by the dull tingling in my chest that I surely believe I've hurt her. Say you're sorry, Battler. I know it sounds dumb, but maybe that'll do something. Fuck, what was the sin? And that shit's fucking me up because I have no answers for that. I have like a vague idea, but that's like the big fucking question for me. I have no way of knowing what the silent Beato feels. I think if I think I've hurt her, does that mean she's actually been hurt? And if I didn't think I had hurt her, would that mean no one's gotten hurt because of me? That feels fucking important. Wait. That feels like that might connect to the like original sin. Calling it the original sin actually might be what I call it from now on. Some fucking Adam and Eve shit. Some fucking Garden of Eden shit. God, I love how much, like, Japan is, like, obsessed with all this fucking biblical shit and the 7 deadly sins and the fucking, like, Evangelion shit. Like, shit like that. Like, Japan goes crazy for that shit. Full Metal Alchemist.
there's my first cup of coffee done. Oh. God, this could be such a goofy fucking 36 hours. Well, at this point, not even 24. So, about that Beato who's drinking tea over there with Natsui. You can handle that, right? Yeah, but no problem. It's the same as it was with Kinzo. Beatrice doesn't exist. This is a fake illusion of a witch that Natsui created, since she believed she was borrowing a witch's power when she thought up a brilliant plan to overcome hardship. It only looks like they're drinking together, because Lambda Delta, who's the game master, and the one telling the story interpreted it that way. If you could stare at this scene without a fragment of love for Natsui, you wouldn't see an illusion like that. 'Cause love is magic, baby! That's why with my eyes, all I can see is Natsui drinking her tea in silence, all alone. Without love, it cannot be seen. God, that word seen is important. But to me, it has less to do with the word seen and more with like the nature of truth itself. Because Natsui, because Battler wants to trust Natsui a bit, that's why I think he's seeing Beatrice, because he has that family connection, because he cares about her. I think that's why he sees Beatrice drinking tea with her. Like, that's my idea, at least. Even if there is a human Beatrice, which I'm pretty certain there is at this point. You're looking at a daydream Natsui's showing us. Beatrice doesn't exist there. Beato mumbled softly. It was a small voice that made it sound like she was in pain. The thorn of Burncastle's truth had stabbed into her chest. Yeah, that's probably true. I think your theory's right, but don't say it in front of Beato. It's like not talking about Santa being fucking bullshit in front of a kid. It's shit like that. It doesn't matter where I say it. This is Beato's world we're in. Also, it's not like I'm protecting Beato, but it's still possible Aunt Natsui really is drinking tea with someone unknown person X who calls themselves Beatrice. This scene takes place a year before everything. The number of people on this island on this day has never been shown with the red truth. Sure, even Lambda hasn't said anything in red about the number of people on Rokenjima on this day. In that case, it's possible for Aunt Natsui to claim she really did drink tea with a woman calling herself Beatrice. Just like I can't deny your theory, you can't deny mine. Now he's strongmanning fucking Beatrice. He's actually steelmanning her. Why, Battler? That means you can't say for sure whether the Beato there is an illusion or not. Oh, is this Catbox theory? Might have worked on Beato, but it won't work on me. Why not? After all, Natsui is drinking tea all by herself right there. So I think what's gonna happen, like we're gonna be like we're gonna have to like definitely be steelmanning fucking Beatrice this episode to make her like powerful enough to continue the game for another 3 episodes after this, or at least, yeah. There was a violent sound of glass breaking, and the Beato who laughed happily and cracked jokes about Natsui's newlywed years was erased. A lonely wind blew, and the one person who remained on the bench drinking tea with a tired expression was Aunt Natsui, all by herself.
Beato groaned. I could see clearly that she was in anguish. Another illusion of the witch had been smashed, drawing Beato towards death. In short, this is what the battle to let Beato rest in peace is all about. A second ago, I think I had coffee go up my nose a little bit because I feel fucked up. A second ago, Berncastle likened our fight to the torture of tearing fingernails out. If I have to tear them out anyway, and my last bit of compassion towards Beato should be to minimize that pain. In other words, even if I want to minimize her pain, I still have to cause it. I have to accept that look of anguish on her face. And at the same time, I realized what a merciless thing the Red Truth was. Right now, in this rose garden, there's no one except Aunt Natsuhi. In other words, there are no observers except for Aunt Natsuhi. So if that lone observer were to say that she'd had some tea with Beato, no one should be able to refute that. If there's something no one can deny, doesn't that mean it's truth? No. Aunt Natsuhi is enjoying the roses and drinking tea together with Beato. How could anyone have the right to mercilessly trample that pleasant moment? You, Battler! You must do it! The Red Truth is like a blade. In a battle with a witch, it's a blade that sometimes tears your theories apart, but sometimes becomes a weapon you can fight back with. So, don't use it without reason. A blade is a tool you use when you're supposed to, but it's a weapon if you use it out of malice. True enough, Aunt Natsuhi wasn't really drinking tea with a witch. However, saying that the Red Truth probably has nothing to do with our game. Yeah, no fucking shit. Our game is the tale of October 1986. The 2 days of the crime give us more than enough time to injure each other with our red and blue blades glistening. This isn't about the illusion of the witch. It's about Aunt Natsuhi's privacy. Yeah, I think Aunt Natsuhi's been killed and Beatrice replaced her. How could anyone have the right to expose that? Do you want to acknowledge that a witch actually existed here and drink tea with Natsuhi? Weren't you trying to deny the existence of witches? That's right, if we're talking about our game, the 2-day period from October 4th to October 5th in 1986, but I have no desire to question whether or not witches exist outside that game board. In the first place, the devil's proof argument makes it impossible to deny the existence of witches, and according to the rules of this game, saying something like what you did in red is a forbidden move that leads to a stalemate. It's funny, she just did the same thing she just criticized Battler for doing. She just did that exact same fucking shit. You can't deny the existence of witches, not even with the Red Truth. True. I never thought that I'd hear you talk so glibly about witches existing. Not bad, Lambda. You've done a good job getting Battler stuck between this human culprit theory and the idea that witches existing wouldn't be so bad. She really excels at controlling human hearts. Looks like I'd better start helping you out even more. I really couldn't care less about you two. Disappear. This game is between Beato and me. We're gonna keep this game to ourselves. No way. What? After all, I'm enjoying this game too. Berncastle disappeared, leaving only that unpleasant laugh behind. I'm gonna go get some more coffee. I'll be right back. Give me like 2 minutes. Okay, I'm back. I have just poured a very tall cup of coffee. Fuck. I'm gonna be fucking jumping out of my chair. This is gonna be awful. Alright, let's hit this. Boom. We got an ellipses on the screen. After that, all that remained was Natsuhi sipping tea all alone. Beato, her hand still on the teacup as she stared blankly at the surface of the liquid, and me, Berncastle and Lambda Delta. When the fajitas are sizzling, I could definitely go for a fajita too, actually. That would be pretty fucking good. Berncastle and Lambda Delta. Virgilia called them your friends, but you really should choose your friends more carefully. Or wait, maybe they actually make a good match with an ill-natured person like you. Oh, poor Beatrice. I can't believe I pity her. I'm gonna pity her. I'm gonna be like crying when she dies at the end of this game. Because I definitely think she dies at the end of the game, like the fucking prophecy says. But also Sakutaro is Jesus. So maybe we'll see. Maybe Sakutaro will take the L instead. Beato didn't answer. Battler took Beato's hand, made her hold the cup again, and brought it to her lips. Battler, Beatrice, BB. Beato made a quiet sound in her throat and drank another gulp. Well, that's good. Then Natsui's lonely tea time ended. That truth, which was Natsui's alone, was alone and observed by no one else, had been defiled. In Natsui's world, surely that tea party, which had been peaceful despite her annoyance at Beato for making fun of her too much, came to an end, and the two of them parted ways. Unfortunately, I think I know who that character's name is, like Furudo Erika or something. I think that's their name. And all I know is she's like a detective. That's all I know. I got spoiled a little bit on accident. So I'm not gonna bullshit you and be like, oh, I don't know who the fuck this is. She's like a detective. That's all I know. The two of them parted ways. I also I got like the Steam trading cards for this game the last time I streamed it, and I saw like a bunch of characters I've never seen before in them. It, that's interesting that you say that, Eric. Okay. I don't even have a voice ready for Furudo Erika. Natsui tottered away. On the bench, only a single person's cup remained. Lots of people like her. Umineko no naku karo ni chiru, Nocturne of Truth and Illusions. Oh, that phone freaks me the fuck out. This is the Krusty Krab speaking. This is Patrick. After dashing to her bedroom, Jessica answered the phone. Of course she has a fucking phone in her. That's right, we already knew that. But I bet she like fucking lays on the bed and fucking kicks her legs up and fucking like moves the phone like so fucking 80s of her. She's definitely a love to hate her character. Okay. After dashing to her bedroom, Jessica answered the phone call that had been transferred there. Hello? Sorry to keep you waiting. Battler! What do you think you're doing? Not contacting us for 6 years. How's it going? Oh, really? How the hell would I know? Shut up. So that means you'll be coming to this year's family conference, right? I mean, it's been 6 whole years. Five businessmen in expensive suits were visiting the parlor, giving Kraus and Natsui a progress report on their business. Spread out on the table were blueprints and designs for a building, as well as documents related to expenditures and the like. So packed that even a teacup would have gotten in the way. Officially, they were here to give Kraus a progress report, but in actuality, Kraus had called them all the way over to Rokkenjima so that Natsui could hear from them directly. This was because Natsui needed to hear from someone other than her husband explain what condition their business was in. In other words, even though another family conference without Kinzo was approaching, their business had not yet earned them any money. Yeah, because Kraus is a fucking idiot. So Natsui, here's the business idea. We buy a bunch of pictures of monkeys on the internet, and these monkeys are worth like $100,000 each. And then we'll have like this yacht club for the monkeys. It's a great idea, right? After telling the guests to wait for a short while, Kraus took Natsui out into the hall and once again summarized the situation. Jessica, for your birthday, I got the NFT of... Oh, what's the stupidest fucking thing? I got you your very own fucking lion NFT. Look at this one. Isn't it cool, Jessica? It's got, like, fucking zombie eyes. Whoa! Too much fucking coffee. Oh my god. Fucking awful fucking Kraus. Fuck you, Kraus. In short, they say the work is proceeding even better than we imagined. I just think fucking Kraus is a bunch of yes men who tell him bullshit. This is where my personal connection to the governor really starts to pay off. Kraus, this is so fucking bullshit. Hop off this shit, Kraus. By now, it's absolutely impossible for this to get away from us. That was the best. Don't take a screenshot of my monkey, please. It's my monkey. I own the picture of this monkey. It's in the blockchain, man. Yeah. We'll be able to regain not just the power of attorney, but everything we've lost up to this point as well. I forgot about that. I totally forgot that detail. Not only did he lose like the rights to his money, he lost his power of attorney. Oh my god, he's such an idiot. They didn't. And now they're all worthless. Total flash in the pan. Kraus spoke passionately. This made it seem all the more suspicious to Natsui. She knows what's up. But this time at least, she had to admit that everything really did seem to be going well. Certainly this business Kraus boasted of had expanded in scope over the last year. Yeah, exactly. It's just pure, unadulterated fiat. And once there was no more trust, NFTs were worthless. I'm so proud of everybody who every meme creator who sold their NFT for $100,000 and backed out. Good idea, actually. And was promising an even greater payoff than it anticipated initially. Whether it would be reading is hard. Whether it would prove to be a winner or not, investors had gathered around it, and they were rapidly gaining funds. This must be what they mean when they say money summons money. It was probably the greatest success of Kraus's life so far. Oh god. No, it probably would be his greatest success yet. At that point, was where Natsui's misgivings lay. True, it was certain, and as Kraus had said, they wouldn't lose this catch now. However, the fish on the line had gotten too big. We'll definitely be able to reel this fish in. There's no need to rush. It's such a success that I wish I could show it to Father if he were still alive. Yes, I know. However, I believe you made me a promise last year. You said you were sure you could manage something within a year. A pained look rose to Kraus's face. He certainly had hooked a fat fish that guaranteed great success. However, it would require an appropriate amount of time to reel it in. Kraus had the ghost wipe. Exactly. Asking if there was any way to make money before this year's family conference, but Kraus kept saying that he needed just one more year. God. And the fact that the family tried fucking strongmanning Kraus to fork up money to them, that probably fucked him up so bad. He's probably fucking seething. Kraus planned to use this unprecedented success to catapult them into further challenges in the future. Oh my god. Because of this, he didn't want to do anything that would raise suspicions by making it seem like they were rushing to get money. Certainly, fortune tends to turn against people who take it for granted, even in the slightest. Anxious beggars never prosper. On many occasions before now, Kraus had gotten cold feet and sold off businesses that would surely have brought him a profit had he just waited, and had, in effect, given away his winning picks. Natsuhi also knew this. She knew that guts were the thing her husband lacked most. That's why she was unable to refuse when Kraus said he wanted to prudently wait just one more year.
How wonderful the things are going. It would appear I'll have to sit around here as a ghost for a little longer.
You don't look too disappointed. You're fated to be chewed to bits by demons the moment you leave this world. My apologies, Father. One more year, you might not be granted peace.
It is fine. Fear not, Natsuhi. I am no longer the Oshiramiya family head. The ghost of the study should obediently follow the current head's command. I've taken a look at Kraus's charts, and they aren't bad at all.
This is such cope. This is total fucking cope. Even from your perspective, Father, that I'm making up in my fucking head right now? They're pretty good even from my perspective. Oh my god, Natsuhi. Everyone is confident in victory, gathering together a significant quantity of magical power. This is so fucking shit. This is like just her coping and seething, trying to find some way to trust her. The only way she can trust her husband is with magic. That's the only fucking way she can trust him. And know that he isn't just fucking swindling her. Oh my fucking god. As a result, that victory is growing ever deeper, involving more and more people and magic, beginning to create gold. A perfect embodiment of classic alchemy.
If you've earned even the Golden Witch's approval, that is very reassuring. Rejoice, Natsuhi. This business of Kraus's will save the Oshiramiya family from its crisis without fail.
Thank you very much. And if you would once again... Indeed. We'll have to overcome one more family conference, won't we? Yes. I think things went well last year, but I imagine some of the relatives will find it suspicious. I think this year's conference will be a critical time.
During last year's family conference, you were correct to predict the same thing might have to happen again.
Even for those who aren't witches, preparing for the worst-case scenario is one of the basics for getting in this world. So, what will you do this year? Just like last year, I will see to it that
a high concentration of the servants who knew Father's secret are there on the day of the conference.
Oh, so they sent the other servants home. Okay.
Some of the relatives may have already noticed that Father isn't around. A careless show might actually put us in a more danger of exposure. Indeed. It is said that too much is as bad as too little. Then what will you do?
SpongeBob is a sorcerer of the Senate. He can create astounding automata. The glistening, Penny the powerful, Napkin the omniscient. Are you referencing Chip Skylark? I mean, you do sound mildly crazy.
That would be suitable. Barricades are straightforward and simple. A final trump card.
No matter how strongly the toxin fills this mansion. Yeah. I thought you were like combining multiple fictional universes. I don't know. What is this?
This is Pen.
Oh. I'm not even sure I can play this. Oh, this is what fucking Natsui's doing. Yeah, this is exactly that episode. I'm not sure if I can even watch SpongeBob clips or Viacom will smite me. I remember like there was like this YouTube drama way back in like 2010 where Viacom was like striking people. This is like ancient YouTube drama. So many YouTubers were angry at Viacom because they were copy striking videos. I remember this shit so much. I do agree, Chip Skylark is a deep cut. But Shiny Teeth That Twinkle is freaking so good, actually. A shiny teeth at me. Great episode. It's actually the best episode of Fairly Odd Parents, dare I say. In a show that's rather mediocre, that's not that impressive, but still. No matter how strongly the toxin fills this mansion, as long as the closed room barrier remains around this room, it will be impossible to deny Kinzo's existence. I guarantee that myself. However, when forming a barricade, it is inevitable that you will be surrounded. Man, so much for Kinzo's magic doorknob. Fucking Beatrice is always fucking in here, I swear to God. I know. Even so, I beg that both of you lend us your power just one more time.
I cannot disobey the orders of the new head. Furthermore, a ghost cannot disobey the orders of the living. If you tell me not to leave this room, I will obey.
Thank you very much. Oh, she fucking loved being called the head. I know she did. I'm not satisfied. If you want me to lend you my power, I won't listen to a mere request. That shit is so weird. That's definitely when I stopped watching that show as a kid. I won't listen to a mere request. Yes, you are the family alchemist, so I won't ask you to help. There was certainly a vision there. I order you to help. Your magic is the one thing we can rely on. Use that power to create an illusion of Father just one more time. Very well. I hear and obey. I find your confidence quite pleasing. I'll be making Kraus pregnant now. From the shadows of the study, Battler watched the exchange between these three. I see. So we've made it to this year's family conference. Oh, okay, so I guess we are at 1986 now. Okay. Grandfather was in a bad mood, so he shut himself in his study and didn't appear in front of anyone. Ellipses. Natsuhi spoke boldly about how she would somehow overcome this year's crisis and protect the Ushiramiya family's honor until the end. While Kinzo praised her, saying that her plan looked promising. Beato also praised her, saying that Natsui's dignified confidence was even more well-suited for the headship than Kraus's. However, right now, the true number of people in this room was fucking 1. Oh god. The moment I thought that, no, just because I thought it, Beato grabbed at her chest and moaned. Don't worry. This is still outside the game board, so I won't deny you or grandfather over there. Oh god, when she does that face. I put my hand on Beato's. Oh my god, they're holding hands? As she tried to hold back the deep pain inside her chest. Oh my fucking god, this is total fucking fan service. I already told Berncastle. The 2-day period of the 1986 family conference is all I need to deny the illusion of the witch. In the last game, you said in red that grandfather's dead at the start of time for all games. However, you never mentioned whether grandfather was alive or dead before the start time for the games. In short, even if grandfather exists in this place right now, that doesn't create any contradictions. Oh, he's right. What the fuck? My hand touching her let off a faint blue light, which seeped into her chest. That light tenderly wrapped itself around the splinters in Beato's chest. And I also can't deny the existence of the Beatrice in this place. The number of people on this island outside the game board, in other words, before October 4th, 1986, has not been proclaimed in red. Therefore, there's nothing strange about Beatrice existing here. Oh god, oh god. I don't like this. Beato's expression softened slightly. Alright, Miss Northwind in the Sun, we see you over here. My blue light slowly began to melt the red splinters that denied the illusion of the witch. Beato still wore the same sad expression, but she lifted her face and looked at me straight in the eye. Though she was silent, her eyes told me that her pain had subsided. The feelings that showed in her eyes were gratitude for taking the pain away, and appreciation, was it surprise, for leaving even a tiny bit of leeway for witches to exist. Unable to look directly at those pure eyes of her— Pure? Okay, whatever. I reflexively averted my gaze. Don't get the wrong idea. I don't plan on accepting the existence of witches or surrendering. I just want to let that part slide and fight stoically, so I can win this game against you. I have no desire to bully you outside the game board as well. Beato hung her head, was still facing away from her. However, we waited wordlessly for a while, my hand still on hers. Oh god. By now, no one would believe that this sad-eyed woman was the same person as that prideful Beato. So I asked once more. Even though I said it aloud, it wasn't a question to her. I was asking myself, just what in the world are you thinking? That's right. Even though this is Lambda's game, I have to find you here. I have to find what you thought and what you were trying to do. Very soon, This game will also reach October 4th, 1986. The 5th game will finally begin, and this time, I'll reach the end of that journey. I'm not worried about the surface level stuff like murders and tricks. What did you, the Golden Witch Beatrice, think? And why did you do what you did? What were you hoping for? That's what I'm gonna find out. That's right. I already know how I can reach the end of that journey. It's been made clear to me since the very beginning. How about you find out the original sin, Battler? This time I'll spin the chessboard around. I'll read this tale not from my side, but from yours. And this time I'll understand you. I'll pick my way to your heart. Oh my god, this is total fucking fan service for this fucking ship. I won't let you feel pain. Don't worry. I won't let those witches use you as a toy anymore. Beato looked up at me again and gave a small nod. That's right. The position of Game Master might have been snatched up by Lambda Delta. However, as long as I continue this contest with the intent of fighting against Beato, our fight will continue now, no matter who controls the game board. Very soon, the curtain will rise on our game. God, not this fucker.
At this year's family conference, we must conceal the Master's secret once again.
Yes, I understand. I'm a little doubtful that same trick will work twice.
Madam shares your concerns. Because of that, it was decided this year he will not leave the study even once.
In other words, we'll make it seem like he's been shut away in his study the whole time?
Yes. And the only ones allowed to enter the study were the 3 of us, the servants permitted to wear the one-winged eagle.
Oh my god, don't even get me started on that. Which means the 3 of us will have to perpetuate the lie about the Master.
Correct. Your relatives will probably question you about the Master's health and mood. Make sure you answer without hesitation and see to it that nothing is
seen as suspicious. Those are the 2 heterotions I don't play about. Yes, I understand.
I'm sure you'll screw right up. Oh, I'm sure you'll screw up right away, Nason.
Maybe it's better to say you have a cold or something so you can skip that day. That's mean. Cannon was just making fun of her. He only wanted to release Shannon from the burden of working on this most serious of days. Genji-sama, is it really necessary for Shannon to be on duty? We can manage things well enough without her. Holy shit, Cannon. I've never seen rude Cannon before, damn.
That I cannot do. Madam gave strict orders that the 3 of us be scheduled to work on that day.
Yes, I'm prepared to perform my duties successfully.
Don't screw up.
I won't. Shannon grew sullen and Cannon shrugged. Then Genji told them that they weren't taking this seriously enough.
Shannon, Cannon, the Master we serve has already passed away. However, until he has truly passed on, we will continue to serve. That study is not empty. The Master is still there, hard at work on his usual research. Make sure you take that to heart.
Yes, Genji-sama.
Yes, Genji-sama.
Ooh, coffee shop. They knew? They knew? Whoa! Okay, so this might actually explain how fucking all the way back in episode 1, fucking Rudolph knew he was gonna die that night. That might fucking explain that. This shit's fucking crazy. Holy shit, they fucking knew. Or at least Ava knew, but I bet this is a scene with all the fucking siblings. Father's already passed away? That's insane.
Settle down. It's only a possibility. It's well known that the Keita Shingen said in his will that his death was to be kept secret for 3 years.
I never finished Outer Wilds. I was too dumb and too bad at puzzles. I really tried. But I was so bad. I really wanted to. I tried 2 times to play it. That could be a good stream game option. Whatever I'm playing next, it's just not gonna be as long as fucking Umineko. Because this shit's been fucking crazy. Know about that? Is that how it went? My Japanese history isn't so great. Okay, I know I will. I'm loving this whole fucking game. Okay, now I know about the Oda and Tokugawa. I know what they are. At the time, Takeda was in a middle of a war with Oda and Tokugawa. If people learned about his death at a time like that, it'd probably have a bad impact on the war. But one thing I couldn't fucking stand about that fucking game was those fucking hourglass islands that fucking like alternated with each other with like the sand and shit. Fucked me so bad. Also, I found like the hidden planet. Like I found the shit that like you have to like teleport to. Like I found that shit and that was cool as fuck. Or like the planet, you have to keep looking at it to land on it. That quantum shit.
If people had learned about his death at a time like that, it'd probably have a bad impact on the war.
The quantum moon. Yeah.
Because of that, he left a will saying his death should keep hidden for 3 years.
Hideyoshi did the same thing, right? He totally suppressed information about the death of his master, Oda Nobunaga, so that the enemy wouldn't find out. Quickly made peace with Mori and defeated Akechi in the Battle of Yamazaki.
In other words, on the other hand, Shibata Katsue failed at this. The enemy,
Uesugi, which is like in the north. Thanks, E4, for that information. Learned of Nobuyuki's death, so Shibata had to deal with an unexpected counterattack and got slowed down.
That's why later on he suffered a great loss against Hideyoshi in the fight for the succession.
Hideyoshi, who had a strong fascination with the commanders of the Sengoku period, would always show off his knowledge when he got the chance.
I love Sengoku Jidai.
Wincing slightly, Ava made him get back to the point.
So basically, the whole time since last year's family conference, I've felt as though something was strange.
You mean the time Rudolph and I were talking about the inheritance and Father overheard us from the hall?
That's just it. Natsuhi-san and the servants kept saying Father was here or there, and it seemed to be in a bad mood. But not a single one of us relatives saw Father, right?
If what you're thinking is right, what does that mean? Does it mean Nissan's trying to keep all the inheritance for himself? Wait, where have we seen this before? This ashtray. I think it's an ashtray. Oh, fuck, we've seen it before.
Of course, hiding someone's death is a very dangerous thing to do. And all things considered, I'm not sure Kraus-san would be willing to do it just to have the inheritance to himself.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Well, it's true that Nissan has always been greedy. He always used to take things that were meant for all the siblings, keeping them all for himself. Kraus-san is supposed to be the richest of the siblings. Kraus-san is scheming to keep the inheritance all to himself to the point of accepting the risk of hiding father's death. Sounds a tad unbelievable to me. Even so, last year's family conference was so strange I can't help but wonder. Ava and the others were painfully aware of how reckless it would be to try and see Kinzo when he was in a bad mood. So during last year's family conference, once they heard... I need to find my regular pair of glasses, because this pair is fucking hurting my nose, because the fucking nub fell off. I think that's them over there, under my bed. Yep, that's it. But I'm not gonna grab them, because I'm too lazy for that. Even though they're like 4 feet away. But hey, my wingspan's only so much. Okay. Oops. They never made an attempt to contact him. That was why, to this very day, they hadn't found it suspicious that Kinzo never... Actually, I need to plug my phone in. Give me like 10 seconds. I can't forget to plug this shit in. I'm not even on mute. I'm just getting up. And I'm walking around... Okay. Yep. Sitting down. Okay. It certainly is worth suspecting. But I wonder if Nissan would do something as appalling as hiding father's death. For all his pride, that man has a coward's side to him. I'm definitely convinced the phone calls in episode 4 were bullshit at this point. Like 100% bullshit. Did he really make such a once-in-a-lifetime bet? Either way, it'd probably be a good idea to make sure we get a chance to meet with Father during this year's conference. I wonder when... Oh god, they all know! The rumors are really bad. Sounds like Anaki's business is failing worse than we'd imagined. Like he's taken massive losses, and he's giving it all he's got just to try to cover it up. It'll make it very difficult to borrow money from him. Yeah, I could cry. Wouldn't being in financial stress also weaken Kraus-san's position in certain ways? Fuck, I really want more Kairi. Weaken his position? Well, investors tend to have a keen eye. If they hear that he's actually low on funds, they won't want to have anything to do with him. I guess trust is the most important part of that business. Kairi smiled thinly. Rudolph was taken aback by that smile. Also, I think that not Kairi is Battler's real fucking mom, and I can't wait to find that out. I think the babies were switched because they were in the same hospital, I think. That would be so fucking cute. Oh, fuck, fishy aroma, hell yeah. He figured that his plan, which involved raising money to get him out of his current mess by borrowing from the affluent crowd. Okay, so Rudolph isn't really in... I think out of all the siblings, his position is like the least shit. Because he's only facing a lawsuit about like copyright shit. Hideyoshi's in a pretty rough spot too. It's like the whole hospital takeover. And I think Rose is just a total untalented hack.
Derivative. Bullshit. Out of his current mess, but bargaining affluent Kraus would all come to nothing now that they knew Kraus himself was in financial trouble. Confidence in Kraus-san's abilities might be a requirement for his own business in the future. But it isn't necessary for our future. Are you suggesting that I blackmail him? I wouldn't want to if it were me. One's blood sibling to take another one down is no laughing matter. Rudolph felt a shiver go up his spine at Kyrie's cold smile. At times, Kyrie was able to throw away all compassion and think in an extremely ruthless manner. Whenever he saw that, Rudolph knew he'd never like to have her as his enemy. Yeah, because fucking Kyrie stands on fucking business. I'd rather not threaten Oni-san if we had any other way to get money.
If there were another way, we wouldn't be worrying.
Don't you think it's a bit pathetic to waste time worrying about a problem when you have no other options? Rudolph stopped talking, folded his arms, and lowered his gaze. She just is. It's fucking great. She's at least like a top 4 character for me. Battler, Beatrice, Kyrie are definitely some of my favorites. You know what? Yeah, my top 4 are Battler, Beatrice, Kyrie, Lambda. Just because I like reading Lambda. He still felt some of the terror he'd experienced thanks to Kraus's violence when they were young. And now that same Kraus was the one he needed to threaten. Oh, you know fucking Kraus kicked the shit out of Rudolph when they were kids. Rudolph would also be fighting against his childhood trauma. So to give her husband a little push, Kyrie smiled reassuringly. And perhaps coldly. Never been a fan of doing work based on trust. It takes hard work to build up trust. Only an instant to lose it. There's no less profitable investment.
You're right. All the trust in the world is with a good thing. Yeah.
Even though Kraus-san has been taking on massive losses, he ought to be capable of gathering enough money to buy us some time. Of course, he'd probably be forced to cash in all the trust he's built up so far.
This is gonna get ugly.
We'll have to prepare sufficiently. We haven't been given any time or room for failure. Isn't that right? Among my Kyoto friends, I know a few who are talented at this sort of investigation. Rather not be indebted to people like that. You want to try meeting with them? You can't expect people like that to offer you receipts, but I'm sure they'll dig up something that makes them worth the investment. Mushy mush. Yes? Maria's doing well, too. That's none of your business. Fuck you, Rosa. Thank you. Huh? Well, I have to look at my schedule. I'm too busy getting back shots from my boyfriend right now. Rosa was talking to Rudolph over the phone. Rosa rarely received calls from her older siblings, so she braced herself for something serious. Well, truth is,
I want to have a little talk about the next family conference without Anaki.
Between you, me, and Ava Nason? Sounds like a headache.
I can't go into the details over the phone. But I think you'll find it's worth listening to.
Something good?
Of course. Anaki's all for it.
Nason is?
All we want is your approval. We aren't going to ask you for money or anything like that. Most important thing, the 3 of us stick together.
What if Shannon was killed in episode 1 because she let the others know what was happening? Ooh, I really like that. I fucking really like that nugget. I really like that idea. Shannon fucking leaked the secret, and that's why she was killed. But the issue is, the biggest issue is, why is Kraus dead in episode 1, and why are these two fuckers alive? At least for a little bit. Kraus was murdered because he's a fucking idiot. That's why Kraus was murdered. I have to remember, this isn't... I don't think the killer's Natsuhi. I think it's Beatrice disguised as Natsuhi. I need to recenter that. I don't think it was Natsuhi. It just doesn't fit. And the fact that they wouldn't concede the idea that there's somebody that has multiple names, like, that's fucking important to me. The most important thing is that the three of us stick together. Got it. Rosa let out a sigh. She did so because in the past, when Rudolph and Ava got into a fight with Kraus, they always used to talk to her like this right before dragging her into it. First, tell me. I stand to gain something too, yes?
Yep. The three of us each grabbed 200 million out of this. If all goes well, we might be able to squeeze out more. That should be enough to handle your debt, right?
And when can we expect to grab this pie?
Of course it'll be within a year. I need it. Aniki needs it, and you need it too, Rosa. All three of us will probably be settled.
So the chances of success are good enough that Naisans agreed to it.
Now do you want to hear? I know it's a bit sudden, but let's meet next Sunday, 1900. At that coffee shop you like in Ginza. That's the only time Aniki's scheduled a mind match. Any problems?
If we're talking 200 million, I'll have no choice but to listen. And let's meet at 7 p.m. next Sunday at Leopold's.
Maria-chan? You can bring her too if you want.
Don't talk about money in front of that child. I wonder if she did bring Maria and Maria leaks the plan. Ooh, that would be so fucking important to see that. She set the receiver down with a clunk and violently, a little violently, that's how you read. Apparently, either Ava or Rudolph had gotten a hold of one of Kraus's weak points. They would probably threaten him with the next family conference and force him to pay up. Even before hearing the details, she knew full well that it would be nothing good. But even so, this might be her once-in-a-lifetime chance to pay back her large debts. Rosa took out a notebook out of her handbag and started to mark the day she'd been meeting with Rudolph and Ava. Then she frowned and smacked herself hard in the forehead. Should have smacked harder. Oh, she's already fucking making excuses to fucking not see Maria. We love that. Because written there was DZL with Maria, something she had planned to do with her daughter. Maria was in her room playing around excitedly with Sakutaro and the others. It was because she was going to that recently built amusement park, Disneyland, the following Sunday. Oh, she would have loved Disneyland. Looking at the clock, Rosa saw that it was just past 9 o'clock at night. Maria was breaking the lights out. Oh God. After covering her face and agonizing for a while, Rosa stood up and stomped over to Maria's room. No, please, I don't need more Maria abuse, actually. I really don't need more Maria abuse. The room would probably be a mess as well. At least tonight, that was convenient. As she stood outside the door to Maria's room, listening to the happy laughter seeping through, Rosa's face twisted in anguish once again as she looked at the floor. Then, when she raised her head again, her brow was furrowed and her face had become an ugly expression of anger. Oh my God, no, not again. Oh, thank God, I really did not need more fucking Maria abuse in my fucking life. I've had enough. The weather wasn't that great. According to the weekend forecast, a certain tropical cyclone would likely grow into a large typhoon. If unhappy premonitions tend to be right, this year's family conference will probably take place in absolutely horrible weather. No, I wish a typhoon large enough to stop all boat travel would seal Rokkenjima away forever. that happened, I'd be able to hide Kinzo's death as long as I wanted. If only the typhoon would keep them at bay forever. Natsui let out a deep sigh. Just doing that made her headache throb. The day of the family conference approached. The intensity of her headache just kept on increasing. Moshi mosh. At that time, the phone rang. Natsui turned the TV off and picked up the receiver. Moshi mosh. Hello? I apologize for calling you during your rest. It is Genji. Is something the matter? There is a phone call for you from the external line. However, I will not state their name. Oh, Beatrice. Should I turn on voice acting? They aren't saying the name. Yes. The person in question said you would know when you spoke to them. What should be done? It might be a prank. What did they sound like? I believe it was a young man. Oh, what? Any idea who it might be? A young man. Natsui didn't have a clue who that might be. In the first place, there was no one amongst her acquaintances who would do something as rude as refusing to state their name. And on top of that, a young man? As a wife, she must avoid any contact that might be considered suspicious with anyone other than her husband, much less a young man. As soon as she thought this, the phone call suddenly seemed like something dirty. Oh. What the fuck? Get banned. Fucking, we are not fucking viewbotting here. Could it be some kind of trouble related to Krause's business? What if there was some particular reason they needed to talk to Krause's wife instead of Krause directly? No matter what it is, it's my duty as a wife to listen and report to Krause. If it's some bizarre threat, I just have to firmly refuse and inform Krause that I received such a phone call. If it's something offensive, I just have to tell Genji to never send me an anonymous call again. As Natsui thought this, just as Genji was suggesting that he hang up on the man as though that's what she naturally chose, she'd naturally choose, she told him to connect her to this person. She then set the receiver down. After a short while, the phone rang again. I am actually going to turn on the voice acting for a while, just so I can hear the voice. Moshi moshi. This wasn't the internal line. It was the external phone line, which Genji had redirected to her, which should already have been connected directly with the mysterious man. However, the person on the other end didn't respond. Not liking this at all, Natsui spoke one more time, sounding displeased. Dare desu ka? Tell me your... Oh god. She heard something that sounded like a sigh. She gulped reflexively. After remaining silent for a little longer, the man finally answered. Isn't that Battler? That's Battler, right? That was the first time the man had spoken. Just how long has it been? Yeah, this is Battler. It sounds like Battler. The voice certainly did sound like a young man's, but it's hard to learn much about someone's just by their voice over the phone. It sounded like a young man, but it might actually be a middle school-aged boy. Or a man in his prime who still has a youngish voice. No, wait, it might be too soon to be sure that this is even a male. However, one thing was certain. Natsui can think of no one who would speak to her in an overly familiar manner like this. I think it's Battler, but I'm not sure. That's... Fuck, this is fucking with me so bad. This is fucking with me so bad. What? 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 Battler? Umineko! What the fuck does this mean? This sounds like Battler. But this shit isn't Red Truth, so whatever. Take it at a fucking... Don't fucking think too hard about it, Pier. It's fucking okay. I'm so fucked. I'm ruined. What if... Fuck. This is really fucking bad. Oh no. This is really fucking bad. Why does it sound like Battler? I'm gonna have to fucking compare it the next time I see him. The unsettling word thrust itself mercilessly into the depths of Natsui's heart and started churning it about. What if Battler's at... Fuck. I don't want Battler to be her son. I don't want Battler to be her son, actually. I really don't want that. He doesn't even look like them. Fuck. This is fucking so crazy. Who the fuck is Battler? What happened 6 years ago? In her entire life, Natsui had never been told something so unsettling. In her bewilderment, Natsui felt her heart beat so loudly it felt like it would explode. Okay, I gotta... That's enough. Thank you. I have no idea what you're talking about. Don't know what you're planning, but I'm hanging up. Came back for revenge. Revenge for your crime of 19 years ago? Fuck! I'm so fucked. Okay, so it's not Battler, because Battler's 18. Right? Oh god. Natsui's mind went blank. And from beyond the wind howling outside the window, she most certainly heard the roar of the sea from that day. God, I'm meant to like reread every fucking time Battler and Natsui talk to each other now. God damn it. Umineko! So, you actually do remember, do you not? I told you I don't know what you're talking about. But never call here again. I have not forgotten how you treated me 19 years ago. To curse you, I still call you mother despite that. No, because of that, the family conference will be here very soon, right? I am your son, mother. I will come on the day of the conference, after 19 years, so that I can have my revenge on you. This is bullshit. But it might be something about Beatrice. Breathing so hard her shoulders heaved, Natsuhi slammed the receiver down and hung up. She then hit the phone violently, knocking the receiver off, so that no more calls would come through it. I can hear the roar of the sea. That voice I hear from beyond the howling wind is certainly... Even if I cover my ears, the headache won't... Completely pale, Natsuhi kept shivering as though cold. What the fuck does this mean? Lambda, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm anywhere you want me to be, Burn.
And crawl into the cupboard under the kitchen floor. Or in a jar of rice bran paste, if you like. Oh, you're gonna dip me in bean paste and bite into me, huh? But then I'd rather you dip me in honey. In return, I'll cook you in sugar water. At least make it sweet soy sauce with sweet sake. So what's up? You gonna make me repeat something?
That's right.
Is Natsui's phone conversation here real? Well, define real. Lambda Delta grinned unpleasantly, as though sizing Burncastle up. She was probably trying to tease Burn for making that demand. He refused to repeat it. Well, now, should I refuse or should I respond? As the game master, it's up for me to decide, and I get to make that decision anytime I want. Unless I stated in blue, you weren't obligated to respond. That's it. For now, you're stuck wondering about Natsui's secret of 19 years ago, okay? Make sure you're sitting on the edge of your seat. Delicious coffee. Of course, this fishy telephone call happened before October 4th, 1986. This is still before the start time of the game. There's basically no need to question whether it's true or false. I disagree with that, actually. Since you, the game master, went out of your way to show me this, I'll take it as a preparatory move for something else. Might be a trick, but I'll at least keep this move of yours in my memory. So you'll leave without turning the card over. Ouch. What? Direct attack. After being suddenly conked on the head, Lambda Delta was bewildered. But perhaps this incomprehensible exchange was funny to her, because she quickly went back to giggling. Are you done preparing the game board now? Yeah, that's right. Now I'll finally move on to the game. On to October 4th, 1986. I wonder what number October 4th, 1986 this is. The Endless Witch, huh? Beatrice. She truly is a frightening child. Any moves from your side yet, Burn? No. If you refuse to repeat what I asked, I'm done. Turn end, right? Untap, upkeep, draw. Come, October 4th, 1986. Click, click, click. Click, click, click. Okay. This rose garden really is a masterpiece. Wait, Hold up, I just want to hear it again.
このバカがこんなのが似合わなんて羨ましいぜ
Oh my god, it is the same fucking voice, I'm pretty sure.
んなことはねえぜ。私にとっちゃ船着き場まで遠くて邪魔なだけなんだけどな。
Fuck. And that's... Are you kidding? For me, it just makes it longer to walk to the harbor, and that's a real pain. Oh god, get the fuck off my screen, George. Pretty luxurious worry. Ugh. Getting to say hi to the roses every morning must be awesome! You must be getting late after saying hi to so many roses. Shame about Angie, though. I hear her stomach gets upset easily, right? Apparently. It's probably her intestines that are weak. She's almost always got the runs. I think the moral of the story is that it's actually badass to miss shit because you have diarrhea. Like, I feel like when I was a kid, the best way to miss school, diarrhea. That shit's fucking hilarious. Ugh. You shouldn't say something like that about a lady. Sorry about that. Yeah, I forgot. Nothing comes out of a girl's butt but marshmallows, right? That's what eating college food does, though. At least that's how it worked at my college. That food fucking puts you in the tomb. So Angie got sick and the marshmallows turned into syrup. That's really way over the line. George and Jessica slammed a knee at the first knee and a fist into either side of Battler's gut. Huh. Wonder when that happened. Oh, God. I wonder what other time they used their knee and fist. Whack. Smack. Thud. The smack thud was probably the sound made when his knees hit the ground as he fell over. Normally, Battler possessed the good sense you'd expect from an 18-year-old man. Notice how they fucking say that. Notice how they fucking just put that down. 18-year-old man. Fuck, that is so purposeful. Who the fuck is Battler? However, it seemed that this reunion had brought him back to the mental age he'd been 6 years ago. Oh god, this is so bad. And bit by bit, Jessica and George realized that they were also returning to the way they'd been back then. Say it in red. Battler is 18 years old. Isn't that kind of fucked up? Wait a minute. Isn't it kind of funny how the original question was whether or not there were 18 people or 19 people on this island, and now I'm wondering whether Battler is actually 18 or 19? Fuck. Oh god, this game is so fucked up. I'm getting fucked. This game is fucking me. Natsuhi gazed at this charming chat through an open window in the hall. Madam, Kraus-sama is searching for you. I'll go in just for a bit. It isn't even lunchtime yet, and I'm already tired. Just a few moments ago, the sparks had already started flying between them and Ava's group. The others had pounded on Kraus and Natsuhi over and over to get Kinzo out of his study. Apparently, they hadn't fully been tricked at last year's family conference after all. There are no problems with father, right?
Correct. Leave it to me. Shannon and Cannon are also prepared to handle today's arrangements. Kumasawa is a good liar, so I'm not worried about her, but I am a little concerned about Dr. Nanjo. I get a feeling he's bad at hiding things. Leave that to me. I intend to support Dr. Nanjo from nearby as much as possible. It's so reassuring to have you there. It truly does help a lot. Without your strength, we wouldn't be able to succeed. I am honored by your words.
Don't worry. The closed room barrier in the study is perfect. As long as the barrier remains unbroken, no one will be able to expose Kinzo's secret. Fuck, I'm just thinking back to the paper slip that Ava put in the door. And the door did eventually open. So I'm wondering if like they were somehow able to open it. They were able to see that Kinzo wasn't there, and that's why they were murdered. Like maybe. Tricky. This game is tricky. Yes, I understand. Still, you heard that conversation in the parlor just now, didn't you? Indeed. It seems that some considerable suspicions were aroused last year. The terrible toxin has accumulated and is being spread all around.
It seems this year's conference really will be crucial.
We might be able to overcome this year somehow, but there is such a thing as pushing our luck.
It's probably best to assume that next year won't be manageable. Get the fuck out of here, Ronove. With this much of a magic-resisting toxin filling up that place, it would probably be difficult to preserve Lord Goldsmith's magic for yet another family conference.
Who are you? Oh, no need to be surprised. This man serves as my head furniture.
Greetings, Madam Natsui. My name is Ronove. It is a pleasure to meet you. This man's reliable. He's also helping to protect the closed room barrier.
Is that so? I am Ushiramiya Natsui. I thank you for your cooperation.
Of course, madam. I'll be aiding you from the magic world. Please rely on me.
In that case, I guess I'll introduce myself next. Hi, Riche. Long time no see. Ah, Gap. I'm glad to see you here as well. Well, I only came to have some fun. If you need an extra hand, let me know. Nice to meet you, madam. This is the first time I've said hello, but I'm always right by anyone's side.
Gap here is quite the prankster. Remember that headache medicine you dropped on the floor of your room and lost as you were getting dressed? Gap was the one behind that.
Whenever you set something small down somewhere but can't find it later, it's always a good idea to suspect that it's one of her pranks. Long ago, she used to tease me all the time. Is that so? In any event, this is the Ashiramiya mansion. As long as you are here, you will obey us. You understand, correct?
Of course.
We understand. Think of me as a Genji of the magic world, and give me orders whenever you wish. And even I know how a guest is supposed to act. I won't let the landlord lose face.
You can count on Renovate Gap.
However, the magic world and the human world are two different sides of the same coin. I understand. Of course, I will do all I can in the human world. Let's work together and protect Father's secret. Indeed. This happens every time. Looks like we won't get anywhere until the next day. Well, sure. October 4th is like a prep turn for me. If you don't feel like doing anything, why don't you just sit around until October 5th? I'll call for you after the first 6 die. course, that was an incredibly irritating way to put it. The fight won't start until the crime occurs. However, waiting for the crimes to start would mean turning a blind eye towards the murders of the first Twilight. In other words, it would be the same as being content with the fact that 6 people would die. Did you know? They say that in chess, the player who moves first is twice as likely to win. Although, that can change as the tactics of the match progress. Don't they say the second player has a much better chance at a draw? Even I know the phrase, the first to strike wins. So what are you trying to say? This is why you're so incompetent. Seriously, are you listening, Battler? There do exist puzzles that can be solved even on October 4th. Know which one I mean? You don't mean... No, but... Well, watch and see, Battler the incompetent. Let's see here. Who gave Beatrice who gave Maria the letter? Or like... Well, now the whole thing with Kinzo's ring kind of is a moot point. Because I was really fucking around with Kinzo's ring. But now the most likely person to have that ring is... not Kraus or Natsuhi. Beatrice did, obviously. I've tried solving it several times myself in the past, but I still haven't found anything resembling an answer. On the contrary, I still can't even understand why that puzzle exists. That's right. The reason it exists, why did Beato prepare a puzzle like this in the first place? What happened to the... I actually don't really think I haven't really even considered the Torii Gate that much, really. But why did Rudolph say that shit is important? And Battler's never even fucking thought about it. But I keep thinking about it, because it's such a fucking important detail to me. We all discussed it together from time to time in the past games. Maybe he was gonna tell... That's not even a mystery, it's because fucking Rose is an asshole. Maybe Rudolph was gonna... Now you're asking the big questions. However, I started to avoid thinking about it, under the assumption that there's no point in trying to solve a riddle that can't be solved. This time, I should change my viewpoint. I shouldn't just focus on the surface level stuff, like the truth of the riddle and how to solve it. What's more important is why that riddle was set up in the first place and displayed for us to see. That's what I should be thinking about. And the one proposing that riddle is Beatrice. Even if I can't solve it, I should be able to try and figure out what Beato was thinking when she showed it to us. Okay, this time I'm spinning the chessboard around. The witches keep calling me incompetent. Let them laugh. They aren't my enemies. I'm continuing our match, Beato. Do Battler and Beatrice have like a ship name? Battlertrice. Beatler. Baobat? Oh, we love that. Oh. Looks like it's finally starting raining.
Dang. Wish the only downpour was the one inside my heart.
What the fuck does that mean, Rudolph? The people in the parlor noticed that the raindrops were starting to drip down the window. Now we have nowhere to run until the family conference ends. The same thing goes for Nissan. I won't let them escape. You can be sure of that. The cards we're holding aren't bad. Nissan's just bluffing. I'll make certain he surrenders. Shut the fuck up. Well, there's more to a deal than making your opponent lose. You gotta get a pitfall ready. A pitfall? Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Please don't use that word. Praise them a bit and convince them to stand on it of their own accord. Shut the fuck up, Hideyoshi. Don't make me fucking snort crack again. Hideyoshi-san's right. We pressed him a bit too hard last time, Eva-ne-san. That was perfectly reasonable considering it's Nissan we're dealing with. Looks like Rose has fallen asleep. She was complaining about how early she woke up this morning. Well, guess there's nothing wrong with taking a nap. There's a chance we might be forced to spend all night on this. Getting a nap now is probably a smart idea. Out of consideration for Rosa, who'd fallen asleep on the sofa, the others quietly left the parlor. What if Rosa was never asleep in the first place? Unaware of this, Rosa slept. After telling Maria to just stay where she was after a tantrum over not being able to find her Rose. I've never seen Hunter x Hunter, no. Rosa slept, unaware that the rain had started to fall. The rain poured down as though it had been saving up for this moment. That is how rain works, in fact. Of course, Maria noticed that the rain had started falling and was soaking to her bone. However, that just made her even more stubborn. Unable to find the poor, slightly unhealthy Rose that she herself had marked, she just couldn't stand having that search be interrupted by something like the rain. So the more the rain fell on Maria, the more stubborn she grew, as she wandered through the rose beds. And as she did, from Maria's back came the sound of approaching footsteps. Then the footsteps landed in a puddle, making a small splashing sound that Maria finally heard. VA on right now? Okay. However, even the slight distraction of that irritated her, and Maria ignored it. Maria turned around, bewildered. After all, that voice was one she didn't recognize at all. That sounded like her. On this sealed-off Rokkenjima, that voice belonged to no person she knew. Oh, I just got an achievement. Okay. Is there gonna be an extra person this time? Kraus and Natsuhi had been privately discussing what should be done in a deserted corridor on the 3rd floor. Genshi had searched everywhere for them. That's Kraus's voice? That's not what I imagined.
海難事故で漂流されたと申す方がお屋敷にいらっしゃられました。
Fuck! Oh my god. No, say it in red. Kraus and Natsuhi couldn't help but go wide-eyed and stare at each other. Umineko! Xiaohongshu! This is the first time they'd ever heard of someone coming to this island uninvited. Yeah, me too.
それは本当かね。気の毒に来客として丁重に扱いたまえ。今はどうしているのかね。南條先生が診察しております。
Oh yeah, like, we trust Nanjo.
まだ診察中ですが。私の見た
God, I say Nanjo with such a bad accent a lot of the time.
怪我など
Oh
を
my
されてい
fucking
るよ
god.
うに見えませんでした。
Tired but uninjured, okay.
それはよかった。
Nanjo. Kraus.
私と夏日は今大切な話をしている。終わったらすぐに見舞いに行こう。その漂流者にはぜひくつろいでほしいと伝えたまえ。
What if it's that Erika Furudo person?
かしこまりました。
I don't even know. When Genji bowed deeply and started to leave, Natsui called him to a stop. Genji stopped walking and Natsui jogged up to him.
源氏、その漂流者男ですか？
いいえ、
Oh, it's a woman?
お嬢様くらいの若い女性でございます。
About the same age as Milady.
女性？
What the fuck? This is fucking with me so bad.
そうですか。結構です。下がりなさい。
Umineko! The parlor of the mansion was bustling. The adults gathered, worrying about the health of the sudden guest.
まあ自力でバラ庭園まで歩いてこれたなら命に別状はねえだろうね。
That's Rudolph's voice? That is not what I imagined at all.
転ばぬ先の杖やな。
That's Hideyoshi's voice?
ライフジャケットのおかげやろ。あれがなかったら溺れ死んどったかもわからんで。
He's got that Kyoto accent, or yeah.
どんな子だったの？ジョージやジェシカちゃんより上？下？
That doesn't really mean much, Ava. Yeah, like my idea, like I had that idea of him having a southern accent, like right off the bat. I was really proud of that one. When they said he had, like, he fakes an accent, I had to give him like a shitty, like, southern, like, royalty accent. I refined it a little bit. I had to like find it at first a little bit. But when he became Foghorn Leghorn, I think it was good. I think he's one of my better voices.
シシカお姉ちゃんよりは下だった。
Younger than Jessica.
ライフジャケットと水着だった。
What the fuck is this?
ヘトヘトみたいだった。
漂着したのが船着き場のあたりだったなら本当に不幸中の幸いね。
This is fucking with me. I just want to meet this person.
もし島の反対側だったら大変だったわ。
Oh, this is so fucking weird.
しかし気の毒ね。この天気じゃきっと船も来られない。明日いっぱいまで彼女もこの島に釘付けかしら。
皆様、お茶はいかがですか？
That's Goda's voice? Get the fuck out of here. It's so high pitched. It's Goda and Cannon, the latter pushing a serving cart laden with a tea set. Oh fuck, I just skipped through so much on accident. It's gonna be black tea, I know it. Goda understood well that doing a little extra at times like this would earn him points. Oh my fucking god. Goda just wants good boy points. I can't fucking believe it. He's hoping Natsu will make him his chicken nuggets. You know, I bet for all this fucking cooked bullshit, Goda really fucks with chicken nuggets. That is total Pier slop that I just said that. Fuck me. The relatives, hungry for information, crowded around Goda. He ordered Cannon to serve the tea and became the sole object of the relatives' attention.
ゴダさん、どうなんだい？その元気そうなのか？
さあ、わかりません。ですが、心配ご無用。南條先生がつきっきりで見ておりますし、熊沢もシャノンも一緒です。
I don't even trust them. I don't trust these people. Yeah, Nanjo, Kumasawa, Shannon. I don't trust them. We don't even know if it... Oh my god, now this fucking game is doing this shit where it's making me think there's no 19th person. Now I don't want to believe in a 19th person because I don't trust the fucking source it came from. This would have been so good if I had this shit in episode 1, but now I fucking hate it. Now I don't want it. This doesn't work.
どうぞ、ご安心ください。まずは紅茶でおくつろぎになってはいかがですか？
Don't drink the fucking black tea!
さあ、カノンさん、早く配って配って。
早く。Oh, I forgot his voice is really high-pitched. Alright, good night. Cannon knew this tea was just Goda's way of earning points. I'm probably gonna go for like another, like, maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes, I'm not sure. I thought I was gonna go longer, but I might actually try to get some sleep before I... Thank you. Cannon knew this tea was just Goda's way of earning points. Hold up, I'm gonna go back to my voices. So he lined the cups up with a slightly sullen air. Thank you. I hate fucking driving at the airport. It pisses me off. Ugh. I'll help too. It's okay. You can just wait there, Maria-sama. Ugh. I want to serve tea too. Didn't you talk with Dr. Nanjo? Did he say anything? Yes. I met with him a short while ago, and he said there weren't any serious external wounds. From what I could tell at a glance... Oh god, get the fuck out of here. And just as Goda successfully captured the gazes of all present and was about to start talking knowledgeably about the subject, Nanjo returned. Of course, Nanjo instantly became the center of attention. Cannon turned his back on Goda, who seemed downhearted. Dr. Nanjo, how is her condition? Does it look like she'll be okay? Not to worry, everyone. She is fine. She had no injuries at all. She seems to be quite worn out, but there shouldn't be anything to worry about tonight, as long as she doesn't develop a fever. That's good to hear. We're lucky enough to have a doctor, but this is no hospital. Everyone was relieved to hear that the girl was in good health. When Nanjo gave the more detailed results of his examination, including by saying that that she was young and she'd therefore be fine, everyone who no longer fell under this description nodded in assent. Ugh! Boats really are scary. Fall! Battler was right. Maria-chan, let's not tell Battler-kun about this. Can we not say things like that? That really fucks with me. Oh, Madam, Kraus-sama. Goda, who had lost his nerve and was handing out cups, called out in an excessively loud voice. Apparently, he was desperate to get everyone's attention. How is the guest? Yes, sir. Her condition is not serious. I see. That's great. Where is she now? I believe Kumasawa-san and Shannon-san were guiding her to the bath. They said they would get her some clothes afterwards. In that case, they'll probably arrive here soon. Everyone, this may be the day of the family conference, but we have a guest brought here by an unfortunate accident. But I want you all to welcome her. Who could disagree with that? I'm all for it. Same here. Didn't Mom always tell us to be nice to girls? Maybe. You didn't need to make that your life's motto. It's probably best if we call George and the rest over here too. Let's all greet her together. It's gonna be fucking Beatrice. It's gonna be fucking Beatrice. But wouldn't that just make her more... Actually, it can't be Beatrice because they'd fucking recognize her. Right? Unless... I'm so fucked. Ava stood up and made a phone call to the guest house. At that moment, they heard the sound of a knock followed by Genji's voice. It is Genji. The guest has arrived. At those words, everyone fell silent and people who had been sitting stood up straight. I'm fucking on a knife's edge right now. Oh my god, they don't even show her at first. Genji came in first, opening the door slowly. Then moved off to the side, bowing deeply and urging the guest forwards. Oh my god, it is her. I was right. It's Furudo Erika. They did her all up, too. The guest had Shannon and Kumasawa following by her side, and even after seeing the large number of relatives waiting for her in the parlor, she didn't seem overawed in the slightest. Just this single point showed that this girl possessed a dignity appropriate for a guest invited by the Ushiramiya family. Furudo. That is tough to say. Goddamn. Allow me to introduce you. This is the representative of the Ushiramiya family head, Ushiramiya Kraus. Welcome to Rokkanjima. Though you arrived due to an accident, you are a guest of the family. We welcome you. Please make yourself at home and relax however you please. Thank you very much. Allow me to introduce myself. I am called Furudo Erika. Oh my god, she's in Beatrice's spot. Fell from the pleasure boat Eternal Maid 2 mid-cruise in the waters near Rokkanjima. On October 4th, 1986, she drifted to Rokkanjima and the Ushiramiya family welcomed her as a guest. She managed to drift to the island unharmed thanks to several miracles, including the fact that she was wearing a life jacket. Fuck. She's not canon, is she? My deepest apologies for disturbing you members of the Ushiramiya family like this. I'm truly grateful for the warm welcome I've received, despite my status as an uninvited guest. This was greeted by an impressed sigh arising equally from all corners of the room. The clothes she had been lent were probably Jessica's formal wear from long ago, but the composure of her introduction didn't shame those clothes in the slightest. The girl's name was Furudo Erika. She looked slightly younger than Battler and Jessica, but her composure and mannerisms were beyond what anyone would have expected from a high schooler, almost as though she was a well-to-do family's daughter. Wait a sec, who the heck is this? With an incompetent piece like you as the main character piece, the game wouldn't go anywhere. That's why I placed myself there. Berncastle self-insert? Oh, that's fucking weird. So who the fuck is Lambda's self-insert? Because now Lambda has to have one too, right? Well, it's just a bit of a bonus. Even in a closed circle, it'd get boring to see the same crew every single time, right? Quit messing around. This piece doesn't exist on Beato's game board. Beato and I won't acknowledge it. This is Beato's game board, right? If Beato refuses, then I'll consider it. What do you say, Beato? Oh, fuck. Beato was unable to answer. Lambda Delta grinned triumphantly. Want to try complaining about the rules and stepping down from the game? Isn't that a favorite move of you mystery people? If there's even a tiny element that goes against your expectations, you throw a tantrum and totally stop thinking. Ugh. Don't worry. I'll make a detective proclamation regarding this piece. A detective proclamation? I proclaim that Furudo Erika is the detective. The detective isn't a culprit. No proof is needed to show this. In short, there's absolutely no need to suspect this girl. Even if she appears as a human piece from now on, you can build the theories the same as you always did. Get it? Okay. Thank you. That's Nox's 7th, right? It is forbidden for the detective to be the culprit. There was an exception clause in the original, but for the... Wait, I'm reading it wrong. There was an exception clause in the original, but for this game, the detective isn't a culprit. Has been proclaimed in red, so you don't have to need to consider the exception. I hate word games, so I'll say this in red too. Furudo Erika is not the culprit. Did she say... Okay, detective... Furudo Erika is the detective. Furudo Erika is not the culprit. The detective isn't a culprit. Thank you. Repeat it. Furudo Erika had no influence on any of Beato's games before now. Please say that. I don't want to get fucked. Sure, no problem. Furudo Erika had no influence on any of Beato's games before now. She's nothing more than an extra character who appears for the first time this round. She does not exist in the worlds before this one, nor does she influence them. So what does this do to the number of people on this island right now? Of course, it's +1 from the previous number. But don't worry. Furudo Erika only increases it by 1 person. Besides her, the number of people on this island is exactly the same as it was in the previous games. I'm so fucking pissed. At that time, the sound of people dashing down the corridor could be heard. It was Battler, George, and Jessica who had come from the guest house after being called here by Ava. They immediately spotted a guest they didn't recognize and their eyes went wide. I love this face she does. It's so fucking funny looking. Whoa. Who are you? Ugh, a guest. She came by falling. Huh? Fall? Genji-san. Who is this person? This is a guest. Furudo Erika-sama. Furudo-sama? This is the daughter of the family. Jessica-sama, along with her cousins George-sama and Battler-sama. Nice to meet you. I'm Oshiramiya Jessica. Hello. My name is Furudo Erika. I am very pleased to meet you. Though Battler, George, and Jessica didn't have a clue what was going on and were utterly bewildered, they introduced themselves. Isn't that convenient? This way the number of people is clear. The people in the guest house have joined up with the rest, and now all the pieces except for Kinzo, all the humans, have gathered in the parlor. Looks like it. In other words, the number of people in this parlor now is equal to the total number of people on this island. There were supposedly 18 people on the island, but since Grandfather's actually dead, that became 17, and now 1 piece of burn castles have been added. The number of humans on this island is returned to 18. Interesting. I glanced around at the humans in the parlor. The guest Furudo Erika, and behind her Kumasawa-san and Shannon-chan. Off to the side was Genji-san. Uncle Kraus and Aunt Natsuhi were welcoming the guest. Goda-san immediately started showing off, and Kanon-kun was being unsociable, wearing his usual blank expression. There was Dad and Kairi-san, Aunt Ava and Uncle Hideyoshi, Rosa and Maria, and Dr. Nanjo. with his Brazilian bald lift. Then, on either side of me, were George Aniki and Jessica. This is everyone. A true number of the people on the island at the moment. Well, all of us are Ashira Miyas. Please don't feel obligated to call us by our family name. I'm George. And I'm Battler. Nice to meet you. Oh, thank you very much, George-san, Battler-san. I'd be pleased if you would just call me Erica. Nice to meet you, Erica-san. It was decided that Erica would be welcomed like a guest and allowed to borrow the bedroom next to the cousin room on the second floor of the guest house. In front of all the relatives, she seemed dignified and a bit stiff. However, as she talked with George and Jessica, her expression began to soften gradually. And so, the detective, Furudo Erica, was placed on the game board. I think that's a good place to stop then. I was gonna keep going, but I think I am gonna try to catch a couple hours of sleep. Because why the fuck not? Alright, well, I am heading out. We've introduced Furudo Erica, who's gonna make shit fucking difficult. Yep, that's the goal. Alright, gang, I will probably see you most likely Monday. But possibly Sunday. You never know what happens. Bye!